Chapter 26. This is Mangekyo Sharingan? Nine Tails' pupils shrank when it looked at Chen Hui, but before it could react, its thinking instantly stagnated. Then, Naruto on the side suddenly returned to his original state. But at this time, Naruto looked lost and had no intention of paying attention to the things around him. I think you should be able to calm down a little bit. In the illusion world, Chen Hui looked at Nine Tails coldly. Damn it, it's you Uchiha again. Nine Tails roared angrily, and then smacked Chen Hui with his claws. Seeing this, Chen Hui smiled coldly and said, "It seems you haven't figured out yet who is controlling the situation now. This is the illusion world I created." As he spoke, the golden Susanoo instantly enveloped Chen Hui's body. After the movie, Susanoo has transformed into her second form. Then, Chen Hui controlled Susanoo to draw the sword, and instantly knocked Nine Tails away dozens of meters away. "Howl! I'm going to kill you." Nine Tails roared angrily, and then it opened its mouth wide, and countless yin and yang chakra began to gather in its mouth. Sucker punch! Chen Hui curled his lips in disdain, and then Susanoo changed again. Susanoo first grew legs and slowly grew taller, and then a pair of sky-covering wings spread out from her back. During this period of time, Nine Tails' attack had been fully charged, and a black, extremely condensed chakra ball suddenly appeared. Then, Nine Tails swallowed the chakra ball into his mouth. Tailed Beast Cannon. But just when Nine Tails was about to roar out this blow, the next moment, Susanoo appeared in front of Nine Tails. Then, Susanoo pinched Nine Tails' mouth. Boom! A low explosion sounded, and Nine Tails' eyes suddenly widened. The ball of chakra exploded in its mouth. At this time, Susanoo also let go of Nine Tails, and Nine Tails suddenly fell to the ground like a shrimp with soft legs. But as a condensed body of chakra, and with almost unlimited chakra, this kind of injury is not enough to make Nine Tails fatal. In just a few moments, most of the injuries in Nine Tails' mouth were recovered. "It seems that we still have to cut off your chakra supply." Chen Hui inside Susanoo started to form seals, and at the same time, Susanoo outside also followed suit. Then, Susanoo slammed to the ground. With style, the tree world is coming. While Chen Hui was violently abusing Nine Tails in the illusion world, there was silence outside the seal of Nine Tails. With the seal suppressed and your strength halved, a Mangekyo-level Sharingan is enough to completely control you, Chen Hui said calmly to the stunned Nine Tails, and then he looked at Naruto. "Wherever it hurts, it's time for you to face reality. Don't forget, you still have to avenge your parents." "Revenge? What revenge?" Naruto regained his consciousness a little after hearing this. Chen Hui said calmly, "Of course it's to avenge your parents' murder." "Parents?" Naruto murmured. Then, a murderous look instantly appeared in his eyes. "Yes, I want revenge. But who should I seek revenge from?" Naruto slowly raised his head, and then he realized that he had arrived in another place. Then, his pupils suddenly shrank. "Nine Tails?" Chen Hui nodded slightly and said, "This is the sealing space where Nine Tails is sealed in your body. I just saw this guy kill my parents." Naruto knelt on the ground and roared at Nine Tails. "I'm going to kill you." Chen Hui suddenly had a headache when he saw this. Without Ashura's ideological suppression, Naruto's heart must have been too dark. He shouted to fight and kill. But Chen Hui can also understand that without Ashura's ideological suppression, Naruto's suffering and resentment will burst out all at once. That's why Naruto was so irrational and overestimating his abilities at this time. However, Chen Hui was not prepared to stop Naruto. After all, it was better to burst out like this than to keep suppressing it. And Naruto is likely to become an important fighting force for him in the future. He doesn't want an irrational beast. Then, Chen Hui saw Naruto getting up from the ground, and then rushing towards Nine Tails manically. With a small stature, he quickly passed through the cage, ran inside and started punching and kicking Nine Tails. Fortunately, Nine Tails was controlled by Chen Hui at this time. Otherwise, Nine Tails would have easily died at the age of 8 even if Nine Tails had just raised his hand. "He's just a kid after all." Chen Hui shook his head. In this way, more than half an hour passed, and Naruto also punched and kicked Nine Tails for more than half an hour. "How about it? Are you done venting?" Chen Hui waved, and Naruto in the distance suddenly appeared next to him. Seeing Chen Hui, Naruto burst into tears again. "I'm so useless. I can't do anything." Somehow, even though they had only been in contact for an hour, he became more and more fond of Chen Hui. Seeing this, Chen Hui knelt down and patted Naruto on the shoulder. "It doesn't matter. You are only 8 years old now, and Sarutobi Hiruzen and others will not wholeheartedly improve your strength in order to prevent you from getting out of control, so naturally you can't do anything. But as long as I am here, I will help you improve your strength and give you the strength to take revenge. Really, really? Naruto asked twitchingly. Of course. Chunhui smiled at him. But you have mistaken the target of revenge. Nine Tails is just a controlled tool. There is someone else who really wants to kill your parents. Who? Naruto asked. Chunhui shook his head and said, this man has been coveting the position of Hokage for a long time. So he hooked up with someone who had plans for Konoha and secretly planned the time when Nine Tails would attack the village. They took advantage of your mother's birth and released Nine Tails to wreak havoc on Konoha. So your parents sacrificed themselves to seal Nine Tails into your body? This man is a high-ranking person in Konoha village. You are still young and can't control yourself, so you don't need to know who he is now. When you are strong enough in the future, I will naturally tell you everything. After Chunhui finished speaking, Naruto suddenly fell silent. After a long time, he asked quietly, who are you? Why do you go to such great lengths to tell me this? What is your purpose? Although Naruto is a big guy, that doesn't mean he's stupid. After venting to Nine Tails, Naruto finally regained his composure. Chunhui shrugged. He was not prepared to conceal his identity and purpose. I am Uchiha Chunhui, and your classmate Uchiha Sasuke is from our clan. Not long ago, the top brass of Konoha were afraid of and coveted my power, Uchiha, so they united with the traitor in my clan, Sasuke's brother Itachi, to completely wipe out our clan. But I stopped all of this. Now I am preparing to leave with my clan members. Before I left, I suddenly wanted to expose the faces of Sarutobi Hiruzen and other Konoha senior officials to some innocent people, so I found you. Chapter 27. Then, are you also planning to use me? Naruto murmured, his face unclear whether he was sad or dark. Chunhui shook his head and said, I just want to tell you the truth. I have now broken with Konoha. No, it should be said to be Sarutobi Hiruzen. He cannot represent everyone in Konoha yet. But because he is a Hokage, I will leave with my clan, but with my talent, I will return to Konoha in a few years to take back what belongs to Uchiha. And you were just an 11 or 12-year-old kid at that time, so you couldn't do anything to help me. So, you can also understand that I want your future. Future? Naruto was a little confused. That's right. Chunhui nodded. I will take back Konoha in the future, so you will naturally become my subordinate then. But according to Sarutobi Hiruzen's brainwashing of you at this time, I don't want to kill a character I once liked very much when the time comes. Do you understand? Naruto shook his head in confusion. What Chunhui said was still a bit difficult for him to understand. Chunhui shrugged and said, it's okay if you don't understand, you still have time. But you have to be clear now. On the way forward, you can't trust anyone easily, especially. You can't trust Sarutobi Hiruzen. What I'm saying now, after a while, you may understand that I'm lying to you. So I plan to give you a gift. What gift? Naruto asked. Chunhui smiled, then looked at Nine Tails, and then the Mangekyo in his eyes turned again. It's time for you to wake up too. After saying that, the red light in Nine Tails' eyes disappeared immediately, and his thoughts returned to his body instantly. Looking at Chunhui, who was looking at him calmly, Nine Tails suddenly understood that he had just been hit by an illusion. No wonder he was beaten to death by Chunhui using Uchiha Madara and Hashirama's moves. Thinking of this, it roared instantly. Damn it, it's you Uchiha again. With that said, Nine Tails slapped his paw on the cage. Bang! The huge sound was accompanied by huge air pressure. Chunhui remained unmoved, but Naruto was so frightened that he swallowed and moved back a few steps unconsciously. You've obviously just suffered a big meal, but you're still so irritable. Chunhui shook his head, and then said to Nine Tails with an indifferent expression, now that you are trapped by this seal, and only half of it is left, even Mangekyo can easily control you. So, if you don't want to suffer, you'd better be more conscious and quiet down. Ouch! Unexpectedly, Nine Tails howled even more angrily when he heard this. But it's only been 8 years. It was Uchiha Madara who sent you again. Damn Uchiha Madara. You actually gave my summoning contract to others to sign at will. Uchiha Madara? Chunhui curled his lips. He is not qualified to order me, let alone that imposter. I'm just here for Naruto this time. You're just a bonus. Damn it. You looked down on me so much. Nine Tails roared again after hearing this. My temper is really irritating. Chunhui said coldly to Nine Tails. I'm warning you, if you are still so unaware, I do not recommend turning you into a doll controlled by me. Hearing this, Nine Tails became even more angry, but just when it wanted to continue roaring, it noticed Chen Hui's cold eyes and the slightly moving Mangekyo in his eyes. Suddenly, it felt like cold water washed over its body, and it calmed down instantly. Although Nine Tails is arrogant, they are not stupid, and they know that they are at a disadvantage at this time. Boy, what do you want to do? Nine Tails asked in a low voice. Nine Tails finally calmed down, and Chen Hui nodded with satisfaction. Then Chen Hui pointed at Naruto and said, "You should know him, right? Of course, he is my host at this time. I can see things outside through him." Nine Tails lay down like a turtle, rubbing its head on its paws. Since it couldn't resist, it was too lazy to move and began to become careless. Chen Hui said, "I want you to promise me one thing. From today on, you will help Naruto become stronger and let him master your chakra quickly." Are you kidding me? When Nine Tails heard this, it immediately stared and was about to get angry, but when it saw Chen Hui's plain expression and Mangekyo, it immediately became decadent again. It muttered secretly, "Damn Uchiha, damn Mangekyo." Then, it said, "You give up, no matter how you coerce me. I will not let this kid control my chakra. This is the dignity of the tailed beast." Haha, don't jump to conclusions so early. Chun Hui said lightly. You know, the 2 tails and 8 tails of Cloud Shinobi Village and the 3 tails of Mist Shinobi Village all have the same mind as the host, and they have become perfect Jinchūriki. What? Nine Tails' pupils shrank. Then it said disdainfully, "Then these guys are really depraved, and they are actually willing to believe in humans." Chen Hui was not surprised by Nine Tails' attitude after hearing the news. After all, Nine Tails can absorb all kinds of emotions wandering in the ninja world, so it is natural that he understands human nature very well. Although there are some exceptions, Nine Tails still disdains all humans, even Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, who can defeat it head-on. Chen Hui changed the topic and asked, "Then do you still remember the Uchiha Madara who controlled you 8 years ago?" Nine Tails nodded and said, "Although he called himself Uchiha Madara, I noticed something was wrong with his chakra afterwards. He was just a fake. But he has the summoning contract that I was forced to give to Uchiha Madara, of course, because he was the successor chosen by Madara before her death." Chun Hui said lightly. "Successor?" Nine Tails suddenly narrowed his eyes. It seems that Uchiha Madara has an unknown conspiracy. That's right. Chun Hui nodded and said directly without any mincing words. Uchiha Madara is preparing to resurrect Ten Tails. What? After Chen Hui said this, Nine Tails' pupils suddenly shrank and he couldn't calm down. How do you know about Ten Tails? Chen Hui said calmly, "You don't have to worry about how I know it. I think you should understand the conditions for Ten Tails' resurrection." Nine Tails is silent. It naturally knows the conditions for Ten Tails' resurrection. That is to use the ghetto statue to swallow the 9-tailed beasts including it, and then Ten Tails can return to the ninja world. But soon, it returned to its nonchalant expression. So what? That imposter doesn't have the strength of Madara. If he wants to collect all 9 of our tailed beasts, he has to face the resistance of the 5 major countries. Although that imposter has a pair of Mangekyo, he still can't make any waves. Chapter 28. Indeed. Chen Hui nodded unequivocally. That imposter is indeed not strong enough to challenge the entire ninja world. But he was smart enough to join an organization. In that organization, there are several S-level rebellious ninjas from various ninja villages. Their strength is not weak. Moreover, that organization has now begun preparing a plan to capture the tailed beast. Nine Tails snorted. So what? Once their plan is leaked, the 5 countries will immediately join forces. At that time, how could they cope with the joint attack of the 5 countries with their rebellious ninjas? Besides, Ghetto Statue is not that easy to obtain. It's impossible for them to do it alone. Chen Hui shrugged and said, "It's not enough to just rely on some rebellious people, but who told them to have a good leader? Their leader has samsara eyes. With Rinnegan, I think the Ghetto Statue won't be a problem, right? And the so-called 5 Nations Alliance. Rinnegan?" Nine Tails' pupils suddenly shrank, but soon, it relaxed again and said, "Although I don't know where you obtained these 1,000-year-old secrets, but if you want to use this to plot against me, you have indeed chosen the wrong person. In today's ninja world, if you want to obtain a Rinnegan, you need that power and Uchiha Sharingan to awaken, and in the current ninja world, that kind of power is impossible to appear." Chen Hui said calmly, No need to beat around the bush. You were talking about the yin and yang power of 6 paths, right? Nine Tails was a little shocked and said to himself, "It seems that this guy knows a lot of information," but on the surface, it still curled its lips and said, "So what if you know? Can you still go to Sage of 6 Paths and ask him to give it to you?" Chunhui couldn't help but smile and said, "Why do you have to say it so absolutely? The power of yin and yang of 6 paths is not only possessed by Sage of 6 Path. Doesn't he have 2 sons?" Then, before Nine Tails could speak, Chunhui took out the small ball of Ashura's chakra that he left for Naruto. "This is Ashura's power?" Feeling this familiar aura, Nine Tails immediately opened his mouth. "That's right." Chunhui nodded. "You should know that the chakra of the 2 sons of 6 paths will continue to be reincarnated in the ninja world. And in this life, Naruto is Ashura." This, Nine Tails swallowed. It began to believe what Chunhui said before. Chunhui ignored Nine Tails' expression and said to himself, "And Ashura and Indra's previous lives were Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama." Nine Tails thought to himself, "No wonder these 2 mortals have cultivated to that level. It turns out they are also the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra." Chunhui continued, "Uchiha Madara took a piece of Senju Hashirama's meat when he led you to attack Konoha last time. Then, he used Izanagi to fake his death to escape, hiding in the darkness of the ninja world, waiting for Rinnegan to awaken. But it wasn't until he was nearing the end of his life that he managed to awaken the Rinnegan. Of course, he was not willing to die like this, so he transplanted the Rinnegan into an Uzumaki child, and then found a spokesperson, the same one you met 8 years ago. When the time is right, his spokesperson will control the Uzumaki man, use Rinnegan to resurrect Madara, and then use Resurrection Ten Tails. When the time comes, you won't have to say more about your fate than me, right?" Speaking of this, Nine Tails has completely believed what Chunhui said, but as a noble-tailed beast, it didn't want to bow to Chunhui just like that, so it simply closed its eyes and stopped talking. "It seems you don't want to cooperate anymore," Chunhui said lightly, "but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I have a way to make Naruto pull you out of his body without dying. If this is the case, when Ten Tails is resurrected, there will probably be no such thing as 9 Tails in the world." With that said, Chunhui pulled Naruto, who looked confused, to leave, etc. At this moment, Nine Tails finally couldn't help but speak. It didn't want to return to Ten Tails' body, otherwise his will would completely disappear. Chunhui turned around again with Naruto, only to see Nine Tails looking at them intently. It asked in a deep voice, "If you go by what you said, Uchiha Madara will definitely be resurrected in the end. Without Senju Hashirama at that time, I don't think anyone in the ninja world can stop him." "That's not necessarily true," Chunhui sneered. "I am already a Mangekyo Sharingan, and I have 2 other pairs of Mangekyo in my hands. When the time comes to swallow the power of these 2 pairs of Mangekyo eyes, I will gain eternal Mangekyo. It will take at least 7 or 8 years for Uchiha Madara to be resurrected. During this period, I have plenty of time to absorb the yin and yang power of Ashura and Indra's 6 paths. When Uchiha Madara is resurrected, maybe I can awaken the Rinnegan too. So, you now have 2 options. First, cooperate with me and help Naruto improve his strength. Then I will naturally protect you. Second, if you refuse to cooperate, I will turn you back into 10 Tails without Uchiha Madara's intervention. After all, becoming 10 Tails Jinchūriki is also very tempting to me." Chunhui has reached this point, and Nine Tails naturally knows which one he should choose. But it still used chakra to avoid Naruto and asked Chunhui, "Why do you go to such lengths to help this guy Naruto?" Chunhui's interesting Kaido. "I just want to see the scene of Naruto standing on the ruins of Konoha. It must be interesting." Nine Tails was silent, and Chunhui also looked at it quietly. For Chunhui, it doesn't matter whether Nine Tails agrees or not. After all, he has a system. When the time comes, his strength will definitely be enough to crush everything. After a long time, Nine Tails said, "I promise you." Wise choice. Chunhui smiled without surprise. He has reached this point. If Nine Tails still doesn't agree, then it is really stupid. Suddenly, Chunhui narrowed his eyes and smiled. "Since you have agreed to accept my protection, shouldn't you pay me some protection money?" Huh. Nine Tails was stunned. What the hell? Chunhui said to himself, "I'm not greedy, just give me some of your origins. It won't be anything to you." When Nine Tails heard this, the corner of his mouth suddenly twitched. What does nothing count mean? It's obviously going to hurt your muscles and bones, right? That is its origin. Nine Tails asked quietly, Did you have this idea from the beginning? No, no, no. Chunhui waved his hand and said, I just had a sudden idea. After all, if I had had this idea at the beginning, I would have just robbed him. When Nine Tails heard this, it suddenly became even more depressed. It cursed secretly. Mangekyo is amazing, but for it at this time, the origin is nothing at all. After all, it does not need to take action, and the origin will be replenished by itself in a few years. Then I'll give you some. Nine Tails sighed. Everything went wrong for it today. Then, Nine Tails' figure instantly shrunk by 1/3, and at the same time, a ball of crimson chakra floated upward. In the outside world, Chunhui's body struck Naruto's body again. After taking out 1/3 of the origin of Nine Tails, he sealed it into a scroll again. The harvest tonight is really good. 2 pairs of Mangekyo, Ashura Chakra, and the origin of Nine Tails. Beautiful. Chapter 29. In the sealed space, Chunhui looked at Nine Tails with a smile. Don't worry, I'm very reputable. Since you agree, I will never let you be turned into 10 tails. Even, I can give you freedom then. That's good. Nine Tails lay down quite tiredly. 1/3 of the origin was given out at once, and now it has greatly damaged its vitality. However, Nine Tails didn't take it to heart if Chunhui wanted to let it go. After all, these days, it has become accustomed to human greed. How could anyone not covet its power? By the way, Chunhui suddenly asked, I remember that your chakra can sense the good and evil of the other party, right? Nine Tails nodded. There was nothing to hide. Yes, because I can absorb various emotions in the ninja world. I can also use this to judge the good and evil in other people's hearts. But you are an exception. I can't feel any of your inner thoughts from you. It's impossible for you to feel it. Chunhui shrugged. Then from now on, share this ability with Naruto, so that he can see what the real world is. Nine Tails responded, and a burst of golden chakra instantly poured into Naruto's body. Looking at Naruto, who was still confused, Chunhui said, Now that you have the ability to sense good and evil, use this ability to observe Konoha. You are a smart boy. I think you should know what secrets you have and you can't tell them. I will not hide the fact that I came to see you tonight. When you see Sarutobi Hiruzen, you will tell him. I will tell you all about your life experience. Then you can use this ability to sense good and evil to see who your trustworthy grandpa 3rd generation is. But don't worry, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't dare to really touch you at this time. Are you leaving? Naruto is a little reluctant to let go. Although they only got along for a short time, he now inexplicably relies on and trusts Chunhui. This wasn't some illusion that Chunhui used on Naruto. Naruto has suffered from various cold looks and hostility from the villagers since he was a child, so he is very sensitive to the attitudes of other people. In the past, due to the influence of Ashura Chakra, he could not bear any ill will towards other people, so this ability was not displayed very much. But now the system has completely sealed Ashura's thinking. Naruto's talent, which he has cultivated since childhood, has become the basis for him to judge whether the other party is friendly. Although Nine Tails' sense of good and evil was useless to Chunhui, Naruto could hear the sincerity in Chunhui's words. No matter what the future holds, Chunhui does not have any ill will toward him at this time, and Chunhui is the only person in these years who is willing to listen to his feelings and treat him sincerely. That's why Naruto trusted Chunhui so much at this time. Chunhui said calmly, I still want to leave the country of fire with my tribe, but within a few years, I will return to Konoha, and in the years since I haven't returned, you should take a good look at the real faces of the people in the village, and at the same time determine your own position. Learn to use the abilities of Nine Tails. This can be regarded as a meeting gift from me. No matter what, it will be your reliance in the ninja world in the future. And this? With that said, Chunhui took out the small ball of Ashura's chakra again. Let's wait until the next time we meet to discuss this matter. You can't fuse it yourself. After that, Chunhui injected Ashura's chakra ball into Naruto's body again. With the seal of the system, without Chunhui's help, no one in the entire ninja world can help Naruto fuse, not even the Sage of Six Paths. Before Naruto's position was determined, Chunhui felt that it was enough for him to have 9 tails. After all, although Chunhui is confident in conquering Naruto, he still needs to take necessary precautions. He doesn't want to hinder his return to Konoha in the future because of himself. After doing all this, Chunhui's figure instantly disappeared in front of Naruto and 9 Tails. At this time, 9 Tails also looked at Naruto. Boy, I can feel your hatred for me. It seems that this guy has told you what happened back then. Naruto said in a low voice. You killed my parents. Nine Tails nodded and said without hesitation, I was not controlled when I killed them, so I did kill them. Why? Naruto shouted in an extremely low tone. Nine Tails was unmoved and said calmly, because I want to be free. After I was created by Sage of Six Paths, I have been hiding quietly in the ninja world according to his will, guarding the ninja world which was very weak at the time. But when Sage of Six Paths passed away, and his two sons also passed away, the ninja world was in chaos. Sage of Six Paths gave me the ability to absorb the emotions of people wandering in the ninja world, so as to purify the world. But the greed of you humans is too great. Even I have become a little obsessed with my mind. Even my chakra has begun to be filled with violence. In order not to destroy the ninja world, I chose to hide deep in a dense forest. But the greedy humans still found me. They tried to use all means to get my power. In the end, I beat them away one by one, but my whereabouts were still exposed. Finally, decades ago, Uchiha Madara was brought in. But Uchiha Madara finally lost to Senju Hashirama. Senju Hashirama said that my strength was a hidden danger to the ninja world, so he sealed me in his wife's body. I lost my freedom inexplicably like this. I don't think I have done anything to harm the ninja world. The most I can do is kill those who are greedy for my strength. Then, you, Konoha, controlled my power to massacre the enemies of other ninja villages, and then put all the blame on me. Do you think I should lose my freedom? After listening to Nine Tails' words, Naruto fell silent. At this time, he is no longer the arrogant Naruto in the original book who clamors to be Hokage every day. The emotional outburst that had been suppressed by Ashura's will, coupled with the influence of Ashura's will on him over the years, actually made his mind more mature at this time. Nine Tails said calmly, It is true that your parents were killed by me. Your thoughts don't matter to me. In the next few years, I will let you master my power as quickly as possible. When this is all over, we will have nothing to do with each other. Naruto took a deep look at Nine Tails, and then his consciousness returned to his body. He opened his eyes, and there was no figure of Chen Hui around him. Naruto murmured, Have you left already? He was silent for a moment, and then fell asleep again. His experience tonight made him extremely exhausted, and he needed to take a good rest. On the other side, Chen Hui has returned to the mountain peak where he and Uchiha Peak and others parted. Looking at the ruins of Konoha below, Chen Hui murmured, Next time, it won't end so simply. After saying that, his figure disappeared instantly. Chapter 30. In a cave, Chen Hui was sitting cross-legged. Chen Hui was not ready to go to Uchiha Fong and others immediately. After careful consideration, he decided to digest the harvest first. Chen Hui entered the system panel and ordered, Receive the mission reward. Task 3. Lead the tribe to resist and show Uchiha's true power. Completed. Start settling task rewards. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Perfect Sage Mode. Mysterious Mystery Scroll X1. After the system finished speaking, a black scroll appeared in Chen Hui's hand. At the same time, a torrent of knowledge also poured into Chen Hui's mind. After absorbing this knowledge, Chen Hui's eyes suddenly lit up. Is this the perfect Sage Mode training method? Try it. With that said, Chen Hui immediately put aside the black scroll in his hand. Then, based on the method and that information, he began to perceive the natural energy floating around him. Because it was a perfect cultivation method, coupled with the blessing of Mangekyo, Chen Hui quickly felt the natural energy, so he immediately directed it into his body. The perfect level Sage Mode given by the system is different from the Sage Mode of the 3 holy places. The most difficult part of it is to perceive the natural energy. As long as this step is accomplished, the rest will fall into place, so there will be no danger. So soon, a touch of golden eyeshadow appeared in Chen Hui's eyes. Is this Sage Mode? Chen Hui opened his eyes, feeling the new and weak energy in his body, and a smile appeared on his face. Go and try how powerful it is. After saying that, Chen Hui's figure disappeared in an instant and appeared outside the cave the next moment. Then, he quickly started to form the seal and completed it in less than a second. Sage Art Fire Style, Great Fireball Technique. The next moment, Chen Hui spit out a fireball that was almost golden in color and more than 10 meters in diameter. Then, the fireball quickly hit the stone wall not far ahead. Boom! After a loud noise, I saw that the stone wall that was more than 20 meters high had disappeared, leaving only the squeaking lava on the ground and a huge pit more than 10 meters wide on the ground. When Chen Hui saw this, His pupils suddenly shrank and he took a breath. Hiss, Sage Mode is indeed terrifying. The Sage Art Great Fireball is not only several times larger than the ordinary one, but the temperature inside it has also been qualitatively improved. However, Chen-Hui quickly regained his composure. After all, it was produced by the system and was more powerful than the Sage Mode of the three holy places. It was not surprising that it could do this. Feeling the magical chakra that had been restored in his body, Chen-Hui secretly said, "It seems that I will have to add the practice of Sage Mode to my daily practice in the future. But luckily I know how to shadow clone, so it's not too troublesome." The perfect level Sage Mode practice method given by the system is very different from the original one. The magical chakra in Chen-Hui's body is connected to the outside world. As soon as the magical chakra in his body is consumed, it will be quickly and automatically replenished from the outside world. But the amount of supplementation can reach up to the amount of the original magic chakra in his body. So what he needs to do in the future is to increase the capacity of the magic chakra in his body. Expand the capacity that could only hold a glass of water to the extent that it can hold Wang Yang High. At that point, it won't matter even if he stays in Sage Mode. And now, as long as Chen-Hui still has the magic chakra in his body, he can immediately enter Sage Mode with just a thought. Not bad, not bad. It is indeed produced by the system. Chen-Hui nodded with satisfaction, and then with a thought, he exited Sage Mode and returned to the cave again. The next thing is this scroll. Chen-Hui picked up the scroll he put aside and began to quickly browse its contents. At the same time, the system also began to introduce him. Sharingan Practice Method. The highest level can reach the Eternal Mangekyo level. After using this practice method, the practitioner will be 100% loyal to the host. At the same time, if the practitioner activates the abilities obtained by Mangekyo, the host will automatically obtain them. Ordinary Uchiha bloodline practitioners can start practicing this technique at the age of 5. 1 year of practice can open 1 Magatama Sharingan. Then another 3 years of practice can open 2 Magatama Sharingan. Then another 3 years of practice can open 3 Tomo Sharingan. Then another 6 years of practice can open Mangekyo Sharingan. And then after another 12 years of practice, you can open the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Those with strong Uchiha blood and high talents will practice faster. Before reaching the Eternal Mangekyo, the practitioner can only practice to the point where he is 1 level lower than the host. After reading the scroll and listening to the introduction of the system, Chen-Hui suddenly took a breath. This practice method is so powerful. According to the system, after practicing this method, the Uchiha people can open 1 Magatama Sharingan at the age of 6, 2 Magatama Sharingan at the age of 9, 3 Tomo Sharingan at the age of 12, Mangekyo Sharingan at the age of 18, and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan at the age of 30. And this is just a clan member with average talent. If the talent is strong, the speed of practice will also increase. This is simply tailor-made for the current Uchiha clan. After leaving and destroying Konoha, Chen-Hui will naturally not be satisfied with the status quo. He now has his own ambitions. That is, to lead those tribesmen to unify the ninja world. To do this, Chen-Hui has to face the entire ninja world. But when he becomes stronger, he will naturally be able to sweep everything. And the tribesmen who put everything on him are naturally his helpers, and are the most trustworthy people who will manage the ninja world for him in the future. But at this time, these tribesmen are still too weak, and it is only 4 years before the plot begins, and only 8 years until the ninja world is in chaos. In such a short period of time, this group of tribesmen could not increase their strength much, and naturally they could not provide him with much help. But things are different now. With this secret method, the strength of that group of people will be greatly increased, especially the talented Uchiha Peak and Uchiha Spring. If they practice hard and with his help, they might be able to open the Eternal Mangekyo in 8 years. Then they will be able to take charge of their own business and take a lot of pressure off Chen-Hui. It seems that the system is also encouraging me to unify the ninja world. Chen-Hui smiled slightly and then carefully kept the scroll close to his body. Now comes the main event. A glimmer of light flashed in Chen-Hui's eyes, and then he opened his ninja tool bag and took out the 3-point seal scroll. He first picked up the first scroll, laid it out flat, and made a seal. Then he covered the center of the scroll with his hand and said, "Unsolved." The next moment, 4 bottles suddenly appeared under Chen-Hui's palm. Chapter 31. Inside these 4 bottles are naturally the 2 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan from Hogyoku and Shui that Chen-Hui captured. System, can you help me directly integrate the power of these 2 pairs of Mangekyo eyes into my Mangekyo? Because he is not related to Hogyoku and Shui, Chen-Hui cannot guarantee that transplanting their eyes will give them the power of their eyes. What's more, if the only option is to change eyes, Chen Hui would rather give up. After all, he doesn't want to give up his original organs and transplant other people's organs into himself. Besides, he also has a system. As long as he uses Mangekyo more, it will naturally advance to Eternal Mangekyo. At most, it is just losing an ability, which will probably not have much effect in the future. Changing eyes for this is not worth it to Chen Hui. Can. The system's answer was still so simple and clear, but Chen Hui was very happy after hearing it. Very good. A smile appeared on Chen Hui's face, and then he immediately opened the bottle and took out Fugaka's Mangekyo first. System, start absorbing. As soon as he finished speaking, Fugaka's Mangekyo changed in Chen Hui's hand. I saw thin gray lines starting to emerge from Fugaka's Mangekyo, condensing into 2 gray fog balls above Mangekyo. At the same time, Fugaka's Mangekyo also began to lose its luster. Apparently, these gray lines are Fugaku Mangekyo's pupil power. When the last pupil power was drawn out, Fugaka's Mangekyo instantly turned into flying ash and dissipated from Chen Hui's palm. Then, those 2 pupil powers immediately flew towards Chen Hui's eyes. Chen Hui was not prepared to stop him, so the 2 eye powers were quickly integrated into Chen Hui's Mangekyo. The next moment, Chen Hui felt a coolness in his eyes, and then his own Mangekyo's pupil power began to increase rapidly. At the same time, Chen Hui could feel that he had 2 more skills, the 2-eye skills of Fugaku. With a systematic attack, the devouring eye power went very smoothly and quickly. After a while, Chen Hui opened his eyes again, but he frowned. I didn't expect that after absorbing Fugaka's Mangekyo, I haven't reached the bottleneck of Mangekyo yet. It seems that my pair of Mangekyo Sharingan have very powerful potential. They actually need to absorb the eye power of 2 Mangekyo Sharingan to advance. Thinking of this, Chen Hui did not hesitate and immediately took out Shirsue's Mangekyo again. After absorbing Shirsue's eye power and obtaining 2 of Shirsue's eyes, Shiki's Mangekyo finally reached its bottleneck. It has been detected that host Mangekyo Sharingan has reached a bottleneck. Is there a breakthrough? Breakthrough. Mangekyo Sharingan successfully broke the bottleneck. Congratulations to host for obtaining Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As soon as the system finished speaking, Chen Hui felt that after absorbing 2 pairs of Mangekyo, the pupil power in his eyes had reached ultimate, but at this moment, the pupil power in them had increased again, and it had increased several times in a moment. However, since the Mangekyo was not obtained through transplantation, the Mangekyo pattern of Chen Hui has not changed. When the pupil power of his eyes stabilized, the chakra in Chen Hui's body began to rise sharply, and soon reached the late stage of Kaga level. Feeling that the power in his body was several times stronger than before, Chen Hui couldn't help but clenched his fists in excitement. However, he did not immediately experiment with the new power, because there were still 2 gains for him to absorb at the moment. Then, Chen Hui quickly formed the seal and opened the other 2 scrolls at the same time. 2 golden chakra groups suddenly emerged. These were Ashura's chakra and Nine Tails chakra. Holding 2 balls of chakra, Chen Hui asked the system again, "System, can I directly absorb these 2 groups of chakra at this time?" The system quickly responded, "Ashura's chakra contains 6 paths level power, so it is not recommended for host to absorb it at this time. Otherwise, a lot of energy will be lost. The system can help the host seal it in the body and slowly integrate it into the host's body. After 6 years, the host can completely absorb it. Nine Tails chakra group is unlimited and has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The host can directly swallow it to enhance the quality of the host's chakra. However, the system recommends that host seal it like Ashura's chakra, slowly integrate it and absorb it, and it can be completely absorbed after 1 year. In this way, after fusing and absorbing the chakra of the other 8-tailed beasts, the host can obtain the Ten Tails chakra, 6 paths level." The system analyzed all the pros and cons in detail. After thinking about it for a while, Chen Hui decided to follow the system's suggestion and seal the 2 groups of chakra and slowly merge and absorb them. Therefore, Chen Hui immediately said, "Then seal these 2 groups of chakra and slowly absorb them." Anyway, in the current time period, it is enough to have the Eternal Mangekyo. After Chen Hui finished speaking, the 2 balls of chakra in his hands immediately merged into his body along his arms. Then, Chen Hui felt a warmth flow through his body, and the chakra in his body also increased again under this warmth. But soon, the warmth became extremely delicate. When everything was over, Chen Hui stood up slowly, and a powerful pressure suddenly burst out from his body. This is because Chen Hui's strength has increased sharply, causing his energy to become somewhat out of control. But with Eternal Mangekyo by his side, Chen Hui quickly adapted to the surge in strength. When everything calmed down again, Chen Hui immediately said, "System, check my attributes." Properties panel is opened. Host. Uchiha Chenhui age, 13 years old. Blood inheritance limit. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, mirror space, divine presence, distinguished heavenly gods, predicting the future. Primary sage body, from Ashura Chakra, natural evolution, ninjutsu. Sage mode, wind style. Spiral shuriken, S. Large spiral Riken, S. Fire style. Fire extinguishing, A. Uchiha style Kenjutsu, S. Chakra, Kaga level peak, self, late genin, self, fairy chakra, Ashura chakra, 6 paths, sealed state. 9 tails chakra, super shadow early stage, sealed state, combat strength evaluation. Mid-super shadow stage. Seeing the combat power evaluation given by the system, a glimmer of light suddenly flashed in Chen Hui's eyes. Super Kaga level strength. In the current ninja world, unless the 5 Kages join forces, only Nagato can give me a fight. Chen Hui is very satisfied with the strength he has at the moment, and it's not in vain that he worked so hard to get these 4 things. Next, I should go find Quan and the others, and I have to quickly get a base area. Thinking of this, Chen Hui instantly appeared outside the cave, and then a spiral shuriken directly destroyed all traces around him. There is still Black Zetsu in the ninja world now, and he doesn't know if he can detect Black Zetsu at this time, so he has to deal with it carefully. After doing all this, Chen Hui's figure disappeared instantly and sped away in the direction of Uchiha Peak and others. Chapter 32. Chen Hui left with satisfaction after his strength increased greatly, but at this time, Konoha was still undercurrent. Itachi walked towards a room step by step. He was going to see Danzo. For those Uchiha clan members who chose to stay in Konoha, Itachi had already settled in. However, without Danzo's order, they are not allowed to walk around the village at will. For this reason, the last group of people at the root always hide in the dark and watch every move of the Uchiha tribe. At this time Itachi went to see Danzo, for his brother Sasuke of course. Soon, Itachi arrived at the door and directly reached out to push open the wooden door. Squeak. Inside the house, Danzo was standing with his back to Itachi. The dark environment made Itachi unable to judge how many people were hiding in the darkness. But Itachi didn't care. He narrowed his eyes and asked, "Danzo, where is my brother?" Danzo turned around, his right eye now bandaged again. Danzo said calmly, "When you complete the task, you will naturally see him." Hearing this, Itachi suddenly felt bad, and he even asked, "What do you mean?" Danzo still said calmly, "Itachi, you are a smart man. You naturally know what I mean." Itachi's face twitched, and he already understood what Danzo meant. Let him continue to complete the mission to destroy the Uchiha clan. He immediately said angrily, "They were all willing to betray Chen Hui and stand on Konoha's side just now. What you are doing now is to kill the donkey. Aren't you afraid that those who know will be dissatisfied with Konoha?" Danzo said solemnly, "This is not something you should worry about. You just need to do your job well." Although those people just chose to side with Konoha, they saw that Konoha was powerful and thought that Chen Hui would definitely lose. But what they didn't expect was that Chen Hui's strength would be so heaven-defying that he single-handedly suppressed the 5 of us who joined forces. When Chen Hui asked you to make a choice just now, although I was unconscious, I was still aware of things in the outside world, so I know their true thoughts clearly, and you should know better too. Konoha has just suffered such a big blow. For the sake of Konoha's stability, I will not allow such a group of wallflowers with ulterior motives to stay in Konoha. After Danzo finished speaking, Itachi fell silent. He had also seen the performance of those tribesmen before, so there was nothing wrong with Danzo's words. These people were indeed a source of instability in Konoha. But just now when he saw Fugaku doing everything he could to save him, he put his family before the village for the first time. He didn't want to do that kind of thing again in exchange for so-called peace with blood. Therefore, at this moment, Itachi really wanted to turn around and leave. But what about Sasuke? When Danzo saw Itachi was silent and didn't speak, he immediately snorted. "I give you 2 choices. One is that you and your brother Sasuke live and the others die. The other is that you side with the family and face the annihilation of Konoha. Now Anbu has surrounded Uchiha. Before dawn, if your tribe is still alive, I will kill your brother first, and then directly wipe out Uchiha." You. Hearing that Danzo threatened Sasuke, Itachi suddenly became furious and opened the Mangekyo Sharingan. And at this moment, dozens of Jonin's pressure instantly enveloped him. Itachi suddenly woke up. Of course, He was not afraid of these people's actions. With Mangekyo by his side, Itachi didn't think that these jonin could stop his actions. But once he takes action, his brother Sasuke's life will definitely be in danger. Thinking of this, Itachi suppressed the anger in his heart, and Mangekyo turned back into the three Magatama. At this time, the pressure disappeared in an instant, but Itachi could sense that dozens of vigilant eyes were still staring at him. Itachi asked in a deep voice, "Where is the third generation Sama?" "I want to see the third generation Sama," Danzo said calmly. "Hiruzen's arms were chopped off, and I have arranged for the best medical ninja to treat him. Before leaving, he temporarily gave me the power of the Hokage. So now I have the final say in everything in Konoha. You are a smart man, and you should know how to choose. There are still 5 hours until dawn, so think about it carefully." After saying that, Danzo turned around again and stopped looking at Itachi. Itachi was silent for a moment, then walked out of the house with a gloomy look. In a dark, uninhabited place, Itachi slowly walked in. Itachi said calmly to the air, "Come out, our mission will continue. It seems Danzo threatened you with your brother." A voice came, and then Obito's figure instantly appeared next to Itachi. Itachi said nothing, acquiescing to Obito's question. Just after leaving Danzo, he went to see Fugaku and told all of Danzo's threats. Fugaku chose to accept Danzo's order for the sake of him and the Sasuke brothers. After all, Uchiha at this time was absolutely powerless to resist the ninjas who were full of anger and didn't know how to vent after thousands of Konoha were destroyed. The result of forced confrontation is death together. And if Itachi did it himself, then at least he and Sasuke could survive. After persuading Itachi, the Fugaku couple chose to commit suicide, not wanting Itachi to bear the reputation of patricide. So now, Itachi approached Obito again to get his help. After listening to Itachi's simple explanation, Obito said calmly, "Now that we have decided, let's get started." "It's almost dawn." Itachi nodded, and then he and Obito disappeared instantly. In the dark Uchiha tribe, the tribesmen couldn't sleep in fear. They didn't know what their fate would be. But soon, a scream echoed through the clouds, and Itachi and Obito took action. A group of clan members wanted to resist, but in front of 2 Kaga levels, Itachi and Obito, and 2 Mangekyo, their resistance had no effect at all. Waves of screams could be heard endlessly, but due to the barrier imposed by the roots, the screams of these tribesmen did not spread outside. Just like Chen Hui said, the fate of this group of tribesmen has long been doomed. Not far from the Uchiha tribe, Sasuke was rushing towards his home frantically. As soon as school was over, he was knocked unconscious by a root. When he woke up, the root made up lies about this period and told him. The root said, Chen Hui intended to lead some Uchiha tribesmen to rebel, but was discovered by his father Fugaku, and then joined forces with Konoha to resist the rebellion. Now that the rebellion has subsided, Chen Hui has fled Konoha with the few remaining clan members. After listening to Northeast by East's statement, Sasuke hurried home because he was worried about his parents and brother, and this is how the current scene unfolded. At this time, the massacre of Itachi and Obito had long ended, and the roots had evacuated the barrier, so Sasuke entered the clan territory directly. Looking at the clan land with blood everywhere and no sound at all, Sasuke suddenly realized something was wrong, and he hurried back home. On the telegraph pole in the distance, Itachi was watching this scene indifferently. When Sasuke finally approached the door, Itachi's figure disappeared instantly. Chapter 33. Squeak, ah. Sasuke opened the door carefully, but the next moment, the scene inside made his pupils shrink. Inside the house, the Fugaku couple were lying in a pool of blood. "Dad! Mom!" Sasuke screamed and quickly jumped forward. But no matter how much he yelled or shook, the Fugaku couple could not give him a response. Ta! At this moment, a crisp sound of footsteps suddenly sounded in front of Sasuke. Sasuke was startled, and then quickly looked up, only to see a figure holding a knife slowly walking towards him in the shadows. When Sasuke saw this, he was so frightened that he frantically backed away. But soon, he discovered that the figure in the shadow was actually his brother, Uchiha Itachi. Then, Sasuke asked hurriedly, "Brother, haven't you already put down the rebellion? How could your parents? What on earth is going on? Who did it?" Itachi looked at Sasuke coldly as he screamed in surprise, then threw out a shuriken and passed by Sasuke's side, instantly interrupting Sasuke's words. The next moment, a bloodstain appeared on Sasuke's body. Sasuke swallowed, looked at Itachi in shock and said, "Brother, why? It seems that you already know what happened before." Itachi said coldly. That's right. I killed my parents and the clan members outside. The current scene is exactly what Itachi asked Danzo to cooperate with him in order to make Sasuke regard him as his enemy and quickly increase his strength. For this reason, Itachi still chose to bear the crime of patricide. Sasuke looked at Itachi in shock and shouted, "What did you say?" "My stupid brother." Itachi looked at Sasuke coldly, then glared with his left eye, instantly pulling Sasuke into the moon he had set. Then, Sasuke saw the scene where Chen Hui single-handedly fought against the 5 major Kaga-level forces. After that, there are scenes of Itachi massacring the Uchiha clan and beheading the Fugaku couple, fake. After seeing all this, Sasuke suddenly fell to the ground with his head in pain and murmured, "Why? Why? Why did you kill your parents and clan members?" Itachi said coldly, "To test my measure. Detector level?" Sasuke raised his head and looked at Itachi angrily. "Just for this reason, you killed these people, Mom and Dad. To me, this is very important." Itachi said still coldly. "Hateful." Sasuke roared, then got up and punched Itachi. But this attack had no effect on Itachi. With just one punch, Sasuke flew backwards and lost his fighting power. Then, Itachi walked towards Sasuke step by step and said, "You should have seen the scene of Chen Hui beating the 5 of us. That kind of power is so fascinating, and I can't wait to get it. And my parents and these tribesmen will only be obstacles on my path to becoming strong. So I killed them with my own hands. But you are different. I won't kill you because you have a great effect on me. I have already activated Mangekyo, but as long as I can get your Mangekyo again, Hitomi's power can go even further. So, when one day you have the same eyes as me, I will kill you and get that unparalleled power. Hate me, that's how you can turn on Mangekyo faster, my stupid brother." With that said, Itachi had already arrived in front of Sasuke. He grabbed Sasuke's head, then forced Sasuke to look at him, and used Tsukuyomi on Sasuke again, letting him immerse himself in the scene of Itachi massacring his tribe. After 2 Tsukuyomi, although Itachi did not attack Sasuke, Sasuke still passed out unbearably. However, in his dream, Sasuke still kept experiencing the image of Itachi massacring his tribe. Itachi carefully placed Sasuke on the bed. He stroked Sasuke's head and murmured, "Sasuke, don't blame me, this is a last resort choice to keep you alive." Then, Itachi turned around and walked out of the house. Naturally, there would be roots behind him to take care of Sasuke. Although Itachi could leave directly with Sasuke, this would be considered a complete break with Konoha. For some reason, he didn't want to confront his hometown from the bottom of his heart. Therefore, it is the best choice to let Sasuke grow up safely in Konoha. After walking out of the house, Obito has been waiting outside for a long time. Obito said calmly, "It seems that you love your brother very much. You used the harmless Tsukuyomi twice in a row." Itachi did not answer Obito's question, but said in a deep voice, "Although I don't know what your plan is, it must be an enemy of the entire ninja world. You have seen Shan Hui's strength today. Do you think your plan can continue?" Obito said, "You don't need to worry, our organization is very strong. Although I am no match for Chen Hui now that my strength is greatly reduced, the leader of the organization will naturally have a way to deal with him. After all, Chen Hui is only powerful alone, and he relies on the weirdness of time and space. If you don't use time and space ninjutsu in a head-on confrontation, 2 or 3 Kaga levels will be enough to deal with him." "That's good." Itachi nodded. However, Itachi scoffed at Obito's last words. After all, if Obito didn't use Kamui, Itachi was confident that he could fight him. But is this possible? Obviously very unrealistic. Obito didn't know Itachi's psychological activities. He nodded and said, "The matter is over, let's go." "You go first, I need to warn Danzo." Itachi replied and left instantly using the body flicker technique. Obito saw this and immediately used Kamui to disappear. At this time, those hidden roots also appeared one after another. While cleaning the battlefield, they also began to collect 3 Tomo Sharingan for Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. Looking at Itachi's retreating back, Danzo couldn't help but clenched his fists angrily. "This damn Itachi dares to threaten me." Remembering that Itachi had threatened him with his own strength and the secrets of the village, Danzo's inner anger became even greater. But it was a fact that his skills were inferior to others, so he could only curse secretly. Uchiha is not a good person. At this time, several roots appeared in front of him instantly. Danzo's expression immediately calmed down when he saw this. "Did you get everything?" A root said respectfully, "We got a total of 12 pairs of 3 Tomo Sharingan, 18 pairs of 2 Magatama Sharingan, and 25 pairs of 1 Tomo Sharingan. Not bad." Danzo nodded with satisfaction. Although there are many Uchiha people who choose to stay in Konoha, most of them are not very talented and strong, so it is not surprising that Danzo is the only Sharingan. The root continued. In addition, the masked man also took away 3 pairs of 3 Tomo Sharingan. Danzo said calmly, "It's okay. You all can go down." Several roots heard the sound and immediately left using the body flicker technique. And Danzo also turned around and rushed towards the secret base at the root, but Sarutobi Hiruzen was still waiting for Sharingan. Chapter 34. In a hidden base, Danzo opened a closed door. Inside the door, Sarutobi Hiruzen sat on the bed, tentatively moving his newly acquired arms. "Looks like the surgery was a success, Hiruzen." Danzo walked directly towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. The doctor on the side said respectfully, "Master Danzo, we have made the most suitable arm for Master Hokage, but the cells inside it are too active, so suppression measures need to be taken as soon as possible." Danzo waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, I've got the stuff." Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart suddenly moved when he heard this, and he asked, "Now Itachi, he has gone with Uchiha Madara," Danzo said, also lying on the bed next to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Then, he handed a scroll to the doctor and said, "The one in my arm has been used up and needs to be replaced. Let's get started. Hiruzen and I have 10 transplants on each arm, as well as my right eye." "Yes." The doctor took the scroll respectfully. As Danzo's loyal subordinate, he had installed the Sharingan on Danzo's arm for Danzo before, so he knew exactly what Danzo had given him. The doctor began the operation, and Sarutobi Hiruzen also started and stopped discussing during the process. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed hypocritically. "Itachi has done so much for Konoha. It's us who feel sorry for Itachi." He stopped and glanced at him and sneered, "Itachi is not that selfless. Before leaving, he came here to warn me. Let me not take Sasuke's idea. It's so lawless." Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head and said nothing. Seeing this, Danzo continued, "Now I suspect that Itachi's loyalty is also problematic, so to be on the safe side, let's leave Sasuke to me for training." "No." Unexpectedly, as soon as Danzo finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen rejected him. "Itachi now has the Mangekyo Sharingan. Once he becomes proficient in using it, he might be able to reach the level of Shiki. We have completely offended Shinhui now. If we fall out with Itachi, Konoha will be really in danger by then." Danzo snorted coldly and said, "Hiruzen, you are still too indecisive, and I don't think Itachi can catch up with Shinhui." No need to say it." Sarutobi Hiruzen interrupted Danzo directly. "I know what you want to do to Sasuke, but Sasuke is the last bridge between us and Itachi, so there can be no problems. Let me take care of him." Danzo saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's resolute attitude and suddenly stopped talking angrily. But soon, he brought up another topic. Danzo narrowed his eyes and said, "What are you going to do with those Umbu?" They all heard clearly what Shinhui said before. This, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply. He also felt that this matter was extremely difficult. Most of the ninjas who can become Umbu are Konoha's elite. As for the family ninjas in Umbu, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't care, because the major families have already tacitly understood his behavior. As long as he, Sarutobi Hiruzen, does not infringe on the interests of those families, they will not do anything against him. What's more, he, Sarutobi Hiruzen, still has 2 disciples outside. Those families are afraid of this absolute strength, and it is difficult to shake his status. But among Umbu, 70% of them are civilian ninjas from Konoha. If they have bad thoughts after hearing Shinhui's words, then his position as Hokage as Sarutobi Hiruzen will come to an end. After all, Konoha is mostly made up of civilians. Although they are ignorant, they are not stupid, and they don't care about his so-called power of Sarutobi Hiruzen. So although he is not afraid of those families in terms of force, once his reputation is greatly damaged, then Sarutobi Hiruzen's resignation will be popular. This was the case at the end of the previous 3 battles, because of the performance on the battlefield, and Namake's Minato's reputation was at an all-time high. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen's reputation was greatly reduced because he caused Konoha to experience 2 ninja wars during his reign. So at that time, he could only be forced to abdicate and live in seclusion behind the scenes. But Sarutobi Hiruzen has regained the position of Hokage at this time, and he does not want to be forced to give up the throne of Hokage again. Therefore, Those civilians who were present at that time were the destabilizing factors. Seeing the solemn look on Sarutobi Hiruzen's face, Danzo immediately smiled and revealed his plan. Hiruzen, Konoha has so many casualties now that it can no longer withstand the torment, so we can't keep these people anymore. Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "What do you mean? They have all made great contributions to Konoha." Danzo waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, I won't drive these people away, but they are no longer suitable to appear in Konoha village." Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo quietly, waiting for his next words. Danzo continued, "There were hundreds of your trusted who were present at that time, which is 60% of the number of in Konoha. Excluding the ninjas from Konoha families, the remaining civilian also account for 40% of the total. Killing these people will only weaken the vitality of Konoha, but if we don't kill them, it will cause instability in Konoha." Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said, "If you have anything to say, just say it directly, no need to beat around the bush." Danzo smiled slightly and said, "So why not hand these people over to the roots, hide their lives and let them serve Konoha in another way? Jinbu has suffered a heavy manpower loss this time and needs an urgent recruitment expansion. Moreover, Jinbu has enough strength to make these people forget what Hui said today." This, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. He naturally knew the purpose of Danzo's behavior. He undoubtedly wanted to take the opportunity to enhance the strength of his roots. But seriously, Danzo's plan really impressed him. After all, without killing these people, what Danzo said is the safest way. Danzo saw that Sarutobi Hiruzen was already moved, so he immediately continued to speak to add to the fire. "Hiruzen, there's no time to think about it. Now Konoha has been destroyed by Hui, and those are constantly saving people, so I can't think about Hui's words for the time being. But when daybreak comes and the murdered civilians are rescued, once they start talking about it again, it will be too late to stop them." It has to be said that Danzo's timing was very appropriate. His words completely overwhelmed Sarutobi Hiruzen's inner defense. Although most of his words were just guesses, every one of them penetrated deeply into Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart. Therefore, after thinking for a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded helplessly. "These people are the heroes of Konoha. Don't cause killing easily." As soon as these words came out, Danzo's face suddenly smiled like a chrysanthemum. Everything went wrong tonight, but this news made him smile. He had been coveting Umbu's power for a long time. Then, he nodded to the root behind him, and the root immediately walked out of the room upon seeing this. Based on his knowledge of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he had already arranged everything before coming, just waiting for Sarutobi Hiruzen to nod. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen could only shake his head helplessly. Chapter 35. Because they were prepared in advance, those who were present were quickly found by the roots one by one. Then, facing the menacing roots, the group of was quickly controlled. Among them, those from the Konoha family were only warned, and they were temporarily gathered together to wait for the orders of the Danzo too. This group of family ninjas did not resist. The Chien rules had been told to them by the family when they joined and they all understood it. But those civilians were not so lucky. They were alone and had no ability to resist when facing several times the number of their base. But Danzo did not break his promise. He did not hurt these After all, these people will be his power from now on. He just ordered his subordinate Jinbu to capture the civilian one by one, and then use Jinbu's secret technique, the seal of tongue eradicating evil. After being hit by this sealing techniques, these civilians will no longer be able to tell what happened today. Then, these magic were taken to the root base in Konoha by the roots, and professional personnel began to brainwash them so that they could be loyal to Danzo forever. It was getting brighter, and countless civilians gathered together in Konoha, which was already in ruins. This time, the Konoha explosion caused Konoha, which had been built for decades, to be reduced to ruins 8 years in advance before Pain attacked the village in the original novel. And because it was late at night, the casualties this time were extremely heavy. Countless people died inexplicably while sleeping. The number of civilians and ninjas who died can be measured in tens of thousands. The remaining villagers don't know why this happened, so they wait for an answer from Sarutobi Hiruzen. As for the damage this behavior caused to Konoha, Hui and the others would only feel happy from the bottom of their hearts. Because when Uchiha served as the Konoha guard, these Konoha villagers were very hostile to them. The reason why Uchiha started a rebellion has a lot to do with this group of villagers. It stands to reason that when Uchiha served as a guard, he arrested people according to the rules and maintained the stability of the village. These villagers should be grateful, and there is no reason to reject them. But this group of ignorant villagers would not think so much. They only care about the so-called fair fishing boat. And who created the fishing boat? Of course, people in power like Danzo. The Uchiha guards caught a drunken and troublemaking ninja and maintained the security of the village and liquor store. But once this incident was publicized by Danzo and others, it turned into Uchiha using the power of the guard to bully those weak ninjas who had offended them or whom they disliked. Coupled with the denials and rumors of those who were caught making mistakes, Uchiha has become the epitome of power and arrogance. Those villagers don't care if they have wronged Uchiha. They don't even care about the truth of the matter. They just want to see what they see. After all, they are the prestigious Uchiha clan. So naturally there are many people who are jealous. Naturally, these villagers did not dare to say anything in front of Uchiha, but they scolded the innocent Uchiha behind his back. Of course, these things cannot be hidden from Uchiha, but according to Uchiha's arrogant character, he naturally does not bother to explain to the group of villagers, even though the explanation will not be useful. As time goes on, the conflict between Uchiha and the village will naturally become more and more serious. All these ignorant villagers became tools for Danzo and others to deal with Uchiha. And to deal with such a tool, Chunhui naturally has no mercy. Just like Konoha can eradicate Uchiha without hesitation, regardless of age, Chunhui will naturally not care about Konoha's casualties. It's just the so-called repay others with their own way. Chunhui only cares about the things of people related to him. As for other things, Chunhui just wants to say, it's none of my business. At the entrance of the root base, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo slowly walked out. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's arms were already wrapped with bandages like Danzo. This is of course to maintain the authority of his Hokage-sama. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo walked slowly towards the gathering place of the villagers. Danzo said, "How are you going to explain this incident? If not, just do as I say." "What are you going to do?" Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Danzo, "Put everything on Chunhui and those rebellious people. Let's just say, Chunhui intended to lead some tribesmen to start a rebellion, but he was discovered by the clan leader Hogyoku. After discussing with us, he prepared to persuade Chunhui for the sake of peace. But Chunhui colluded with a large number of strong people from outside the village and ambushed us during the negotiations, and we were both seriously injured during the siege. In the end, we tried our best to drive them out of Konoha. During this period, we also sacrificed hundreds of roots and hundreds of umbu. But who would have thought that Chunhui had buried a large number of detonating symbols in the village, which ultimately led to this disaster. Then Itachi was stimulated by Chunhui and massacred the Uchiha clan members who supported Konoha and loved peace, leaving only his younger brother. Are you going to blame everything on Chunhui? Sarutobi Hiruzen's pupils suddenly shrank. Then he said seriously, "You have seen Chunhui's strength before. If you offend him like this, Konoha will definitely be jealous of him." "Then Chunhui doesn't hate Konoha now?" Danzo asked. "He directly destroyed the entire Konoha. There has been a feud between us for a long time. If we don't blame all this on him, will he be grateful to us?" Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent. He knew that Danzo was right. Konoha and Chunhui were already at odds with each other. Chunhui will definitely destroy Konoha if he has the chance, and Konoha will never let Chunhui go if he has the chance. Danzo continued. And Chunhui's strength is not as scary as imagined. Although his abilities are powerful and weird, they definitely require a huge amount of chakra, and when he left, there was definitely not much chakra left. Otherwise, he wouldn't have chosen to let us go in exchange for Shursue's eyes when he had all the advantages. After all, if his fighting power still existed at that time, he would have been able to get another pair of Itachi Mangekyo. After Danzo finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes suddenly lit up. He had just been tortured by Chunhui, and even the ape demon died in Chunhui's hands, so he didn't expect so much. Now after Danzo's advice, he discovered that Chunhui was not as scary as he thought. What's more, there were less than 1,000 umbu and roots surrounding the Uchiha tribe at that time. But there are no less than 10,000 ninjas in Konoha who are truly capable of fighting. So if Chunhui faced the whole of Konoha, he could be consumed to death. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded to Danzo and said, "Then I listen to you and do this." Then, the two of them looked at each other and smiled. The pressure in their hearts eased and they even sped up their pace a little. But what they didn't expect was that in just one night, Chun Hui's strength had undergone earth-shaking changes. Chapter 36. In the cleared square in the center of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen was tearfully accusing Chan Hui of his crimes. That set of rhetoric is exactly the plan that Danzo proposed before. The group of ignorant villagers below, at this time, just as Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted, scolded Chan Hui and the group of Uchiha tribesmen who chose to follow him. Seeing the villagers below who only focused on scolding Chan Hui without placing any blame on him, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded with satisfaction. As expected of Danzo, he is the best at this kind of thing. After a long time, seeing the situation where Chan Hui was being scolded below became more and more intense, Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly interrupted. He still has a lot of things to do at this time, but he can't just be wasted here. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a look of sorrow and anger, "As Hokage, I am fully responsible for the destruction of Konoha this time. If I could have discovered the civil strife in Uchiha earlier and figured out a way to deal with it, I wouldn't be like this today and let Konoha, which has been developing for decades, be destroyed like this. I feel so ashamed of the second-generation teacher and the villagers who died in this disaster." Speaking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but clench his fists, beat his chest, and burst into tears. The villagers below also lived up to his expectations and tried to persuade them one after another. "Hokage-sama, it's him Uchiha doesn't know how to praise. How can you blame Hokage-sama? Yeah, I've seen it a long time ago. Uchiha are all rebellious people. Yes, please, Hokage-sama, please don't blame yourself too much." The villagers were furious, but in contrast were small groups standing outside the square. They looked at the scene in front of them coldly, almost dismissing Sarutobi Hiruzen's performance. But after all, Sarutobi Hiruzen is still Hokage and the leader of the Sarutobi clan. So they just have plain faces and don't show any expressions. These people are all the major families in Konoha, big and small. Just after Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo completed the operation, Danzo ordered the group of roots to let go of those family umbu. So this family already knew the inside story of last night. That's why they were unmoved by Sarutobi Hiruzen's extremely realistic acting at this moment. Not only that, secretly, they also began to discuss. "I didn't expect that Uchiha would be exterminated like this. Sarutobi Hiruzen is so cruel. It's not like annihilating the clan. Isn't it that Chan Hui left with some clan members? At most, it's just to destroy the group of soft-footed shrimps who are willing to stay in Konoha. Isn't that true? I didn't expect that the division within Uchiha would be so serious. Even if it got to that point, there would still be people willing to believe Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's a pity that their loyalty was fed to the dog. Ha ha ha. Don't be too happy too early. Let's think about how to deal with the consequences of this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen has hit the wall this time. Isn't that true? I heard that Chan Hui alone suppressed the combined attacks of 5 Kage levels, including Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, and cut off both of Sarutobi Hiruzen's arms. He's only 13 years old, right? What a terrifying young man. If he continues to grow like this, he will probably reach the level of Uchiha Madara in first generation in a few years. If he takes revenge on Konoha then, what will we do? If that time really comes, no one in Konoha will be able to stop him. In that case, let's just sit back and watch. Anyway, it's Sarutobi Hiruzen who offended Uchiha this time. Every wrongdoer has his own debtor. If we don't take action, Chan Hui won't offend us all, right? That's right. Let him and the Sarutobi clan bear the trouble caused by him. Sarutobi Hiruzen. That's right. As long as it doesn't involve us, we don't have to meddle in other people's business. Nara, Akamichi, Yamanaka, Hyuga, although you are close to Sarutobi Hiruzen, I think you should have thought through such a big thing, right? Hyuga Hayashi nodded calmly and said, "Don't worry, I won't make fun of the future of the clan." Yamanaka Haichi and Akamichi Dingzao looked at Nara Shikaku. As the think tank of Ino Shikacho and the smartest person in Konoha, it was naturally up to him to make the decision at this time. Nara Shikaku nodded after being silent for a long time. After all, if he really waited until Chan Hui threatened Konoha, he would not make fun of the entire family. On the temporary high platform, Sarutobi Hiruzen pressed his hands, and the square suddenly became quiet. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now Konoha has been destroyed by Chan Hui, and countless compatriots have lost their lives in his hands. Although we are extremely sad, we must continue to move forward. So it's time for everyone to work together. Let's rebuild our home together, and let those who have ill intentions towards Konoha see. What is the power of the largest village in the ninja world? Harmful. Under the influence of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the people below burst out with strong enthusiasm. Then, they began to disperse gradually. After all, rebuilding Konoha cannot be completed overnight. Even if the ninjas take action, it will take at least several years. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and smiled happily, as long as the ignorant people still believe in him and support him. Then, he turned around to find Danzo and other Konoha senior officials. However, at this moment, he went to find a black shadow rushing towards him. His expression suddenly changed. He knew that person. He was Umbu, who was protecting Naruto personally. At this moment when Konoha is at its weakest, nothing can happen to Ten Tails Jinchūriki. In a moment, a black shadow appeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked quickly, "Did something happen to Naruto?" The black shadow said with some fear, "The humble men failed in their duties, just last night." Then the man told everything about his encounter with Hui and his instant kill. "Damn Hui!" Sarutobi Hiruzen cursed angrily, and then rushed towards Naruto's direction instantly. In the hut deep in the forest, Naruto also opened his eyes at this time. Naruto's eyes flashed with confusion, but soon he seemed to have thought of something and sat up from the bed in an instant. Then, he carefully called in his heart, "Nine Tails?" As soon as he finished speaking, a roar came from the bottom of his heart. "Don't do such silly and unnecessary things. It will make you look like an idiot." Naruto was stunned by the sound, but he quickly recovered. Then he stroked his chest and breathed a sigh of relief. As long as it's not a dream. At this moment, a figure instantly appeared in front of Naruto. This person was none other than Sarutobi Hiruzen. Naruto was also startled by the sudden appearance of the figure, and he exclaimed, "Grandpa third generation?" But soon, he remembered the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen that Hui told him in the spiritual world last night. Suddenly, he became wary in his heart. At this time, Nine Tails also spoke again. "Don't be nervous, kid. As long as I am here, this person in front of you is nothing." Chapter 37. Naruto simply ignored Nine Tails' arrogant words. After all, if Nine Tails was really that strong, how could it be sealed in his body? Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally didn't know what was going on in Naruto's heart. He smiled and nodded to Naruto. Then, he said amiably, "Konoha suffered a rebellion and was destroyed last night. Did little Naruto meet anyone suspicious?" Because the stakes were so high, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't mince words. Seeing this, Naruto suddenly became more vigilant. But on his face, he still pretended to be innocent and said, "No, I didn't hear anything last night. I slept all the way until now and I just got up." "Yeah?" Unexpectedly, when Sarutobi Hiruzen heard this, he frowned deeply and looked at Naruto strangely. Sarutobi Hiruzen's emotional changes were silent, but Naruto had gained Nine Tails' ability to sense good and evil last night, so he naturally felt Sarutobi Hiruzen's subtle changes to him. Suddenly, Naruto felt panicked. He was only 8 years old after all. Although his childhood experience and the opportunity last night have made his mind more mature, Naruto is still a little confused in front of an old fox like Sarutobi Hiruzen. At this moment, Nine Tails' voice sounded again. "Boy, have you forgotten what that guy said to you last night? Don't try your cleverness in front of the old man in front of me." After being awakened by Nine Tails, Naruto suddenly remembered Hui's words when parting. Then, he immediately started his performance in the outside world. There was a trace of hesitation on Naruto's face, and he kept looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was obviously hesitant to speak. "What's wrong?" Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly became nervous when he saw this. Naruto hesitated and said, "Although I didn't meet any weird people last night, I had a very special dream." "Special dream?" Sarutobi Hiruzen was startled, and then asked quickly, "What kind of dream was it?" Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen take the bait, Naruto felt happy. Then he extended his hand to Sarutobi Hiruzen like a treasure. "Grandpa third generation, look, I have great abilities now." As he spoke, a blood-red chakra suddenly covered Naruto's entire arm. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw this, his pupils suddenly shrank. "This is Nine Tails chakra." While Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked, Naruto immediately told everything that Shiki told him last night. After saying that, he asked with a hint of tears, "Is what the man in the dream said true? Is my father really the fourth Hokage?" Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent. He didn't know how to return to Naruto's question, and then, he began to struggle in his heart. Naruto, who has the ability to sense good and evil, can notice that the atmosphere in the room is getting weirder and weirder. At the same time, waves of killing intent that made Naruto's hands and feet feel cold and extremely condensed began to emerge. And the source of that killing intent is none other than Sarutobi Hiruzen. Suddenly, Naruto realized that what Shinhui said was true. The grandpa third generation in front of him had been acting in order to gain his trust and control the power of Nine Tails. Thinking of this, negative emotions began to well up in Naruto's heart. But soon, Nine Tails' reminder calmed him down. At this time, he didn't have the strength to resist Sarutobi Hiruzen. So on the surface, Naruto still looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a grieved expression. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also in extreme torment. He didn't know how to deal with Naruto, who already knew all the facts. What's more, Naruto at this time also mastered the power of Nine Tails. There are 3 paths before him now. 1. Control Naruto immediately, then remove Nine Tails and replace him with a more stable and obedient Jinchūriki. 2. Acknowledge Naruto's true identity and then rely on your own Jinjutsu. Will of fire, funny laugh, to appease him. But there is a risk in doing this, that is, Naruto will reveal his identity, and then his reputation among the villagers, Sarutobi Hiruzen, will be completely destroyed. 3. Tell Naruto that this is all fake. This is a direct pass. After all, Naruto is not a fool. Gradually, Sarutobi Hiruzen was partial to the first option. After all, it was the safest and he had no worries. But soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen remembered another important thing. At this time, the news that Konoha was destroyed will probably be spread back to their own villages by spies from other ninja villages soon. By then, the major ninja villages will definitely be ready to take action, and Konoha will be under siege again. At this time, in Konoha, apart from him and Danzo, only Jiraiya has the strength to fight against the shadows of the major ninja villages. As for Tsunade, he will definitely not be able to fight due to hemophobia. And in all the major ninja villages, there are still Jinchūriki. Once the 4 major ninja villages join forces to deal with Konoha, Konoha will face more than 10 Kaga-level opponents. In Konoha, including special teams like Ino Shikacho, there can be 6 or 7 Kaga levels. So as a Jinchūriki who has mastered the Nine Tails chakra, Naruto has become one of Konoha's trump cards. If Jinchūriki chooses to be replaced at this time, and those ninja villages happen to attack Konoha at this time, then Konoha, the consequences could be disastrous. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly had an idea. He could only choose to appease Naruto. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Naruto kindly and started his journey of deception. Yes, Naruto, you are the hero who saved Konoha, the son of 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. In order to prevent Nine Tails from destroying Konoha, your father sealed Nine Tails into your body at the cost of his life. Why? Why would he choose me? Naruto asked excitedly. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed and said, he has his own reasons for doing this. Your father was the hero who defeated other ninja villages and saved Konoha during the Third World War. So other ninja villages have long hated him. In order to prevent those ninja villages from attacking you after his death, he sealed Nine Tails on your body. When you grow up, you can use the power of Nine Tails to protect yourself. And in order for you to grow up safely, your father did not let me disclose your identity. He asked me to wait until you have enough strength to protect yourself before telling you the truth. That's why the villagers don't know your true identity. And the reason why the villagers regard you as a demon fox is because you are being used by people with ulterior motives. Those people want to force me to reveal your identity, because these people also want to get rid of you. They don't dare to do anything to you in the village, so they want to borrow the power of other ninja villages. But those ninja villages naturally wouldn't believe their words easily, so they set their sights on me. Having said this, Sarutobi Hiruzen put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. He said seriously, Naruto, I am saying this to let you know. I will not deceive you, let alone hurt you. So I hope you can understand my good intentions. At this time, Naruto's face was naturally moved, and then he suddenly threw himself into Sarutobi Hiruzen's arms. Grandpa third generation, I believe in you. I will not let you and father down. Good boy. Good boy. Sarutobi Hiruzen hugged Naruto excitedly, and his heart felt relaxed at this moment. He secretly sighed. I finally got through it. Little did he know that Naruto, who looked extremely moved at this moment, was actually extremely cold inside. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought his lies were impeccable, but he never thought that Naruto could sense good and evil. Naruto could feel the deep malice in his heart with every word he said just now. So at this moment, Naruto is just acting on the occasion. Naruto said silently in his heart, Brother Chinhui, I have seen the true face of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Don't worry, I won't let them go. Just as the two were having fun with each other, news of Konoha's destruction and Uchiha's defection quickly spread to other countries. Chapter 38. Iwagakure. Okay. Inoki threw the information in his hand on the table with excitement. I didn't expect to receive such good news so early in the morning. Ha 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 ha. Seeing Inoki's loss of composure, Kuratsuki couldn't help but ask, Grandpa, what happened? Are you so happy? As she said that, she stepped forward and picked up the information on the table. But after a closer look, her pupils couldn't help but shrink suddenly. The entire Konoha was destroyed. Half of Uchiha's strong men defected. Konoha suffered thousands of casualties and Umbu ninjas. Tens of thousands of civilians were killed and injured. Is this true? After reading the intelligence, Kuratsuchi couldn't help but doubt its accuracy. After all, the content in the intelligence was too incredible. Inoki nodded with a smile and said, This information was sent back by my spy, Rock Shinobi, who has been buried in Konoha for more than 10 years. It is absolutely accurate. Besides, such a big thing has happened in Konoha, and it will probably spread throughout the ninja world soon, so the information cannot be false. TSK. It's unimaginable that the Uchiha clan who founded Konoha would defect. Not only that, but it also destroyed the entire Konoha. What a terrifying power. Inoki couldn't help feeling a little emotional. When he mentioned Uchiha, he remembered the scene when he and Second Tsuchikage were brutally tortured by Uchiha Madara. What a powerful and strange clan. Unexpectedly, at this moment, Kuratsuki curled his lips disdainfully. How can Uchiha be that strong? Didn't you see the information said? Uchiha buried detonating talismans throughout Konoha to cause such destructive power. It's just a tribe that can make you so vigilant. I think you are really old man. Why don't you retire quickly and choose the fourth Tsuchikage again? Haha. Inoki smiled and shook his head. Don't underestimate Uchiha. Uchiha Madara back then was able to fight against a ninja village on her own. And what Uchiha Madara relies on is the ultimate evolution of Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan. Now the information says, the third Hokage and Shimura Danzo led nearly 1,000 Umbu to stop them. As a result, nearly 1,000 Umbu died, and the Hokage and Danzo were also seriously injured. This shows that within the Uchiha clan, the leader Chen Hui has probably awakened the power of Uchiha Madara, Mangekyo Sharingan. It seems that the ninja world is about to change. Advertisement still had a skeptical attitude. No way. If that Chen Hui really awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, why would he choose to defect? After all, according to what you said, doesn't Chen Hui already have the power to fight against a village? Inoki said in a deep voice. That's because Chen Hui is still young. Look at this information. It shows that he is only 13 years old, which is only 1 or 2 years older than you. If we give him a few more years, he will probably be another Uchiha Madara. Are you about the same age as me? Suddenly, I'm a little interested in him. Kuratsuchi took another piece of information and read it with interest. Then, Inoki looked at Huang Tu, who was smiling and silent. Go and find out where the defected Uchiha are. Now they have nowhere to go. Maybe they can be used by us. Okay. Huang Tu nodded, and then went down to get ready. When only he and Kuratsuchi were left in Tsuchikage's office, Inoki couldn't help but sigh again. Konoha is in chaos right now, and I guess several other villages are already ready to take action. This is a good time to get a share of the pie. Inoki was a little hesitant. He didn't know whether he should take the opportunity to attack Konoha. At the end of the Third Ninja War, he used 10,000 rock shinobi to kill the third Raikage. But Iwagakure was also severely damaged by this, and it was only in recent years that he eased up a little. If they attack Konoha at this time, Iwagakure will naturally have the strength to fight, but it is estimated that most of the people involved in the battle are the younger generation of Iwagakure. If something happens to them accidentally, Iwagakure's future may be... Thinking of this, Inoki couldn't help but sigh and said to himself, then wait until other ninja villages take action, and then judge whether to send troops based on the situation. Boom. At this moment, there was an explosion in the distance from Iwagakure. What happened? Inoki's expression suddenly changed, and he stood up. This is Iwagakure. Karte curled his lips and said, it must be Brother Deidara again. Damn it. Inoki's face twitched, and he thought of his careless disciple, and then he quickly jumped out of the window and flew towards the place of the explosion. Advertisement seeing this, couldn't help but smile with schadenfreude. brother Deidara is going to be miserable again. At this time, several other ninja villages also received news of Konoha's destruction. After thinking for a long time, Tsunade's fourth Kazekage Rosa decided to sit back and watch like Anoki. After all, Tsunade was being targeted by the daimyo of the Land of Wind at this time, and the entire village was tightening their belts. Even Rosa, as the Kazekage, has to go to the desert to pan for gold every month to barely maintain Tsunade's life. Such Tsunade is incapable of confronting Konoha. Therefore, hiding behind the scenes is their most correct choice. But Cloud Shinobi Village's violent fourth Raikage AI was so excited that he punched the table in front of him to pieces. Then he immediately gathered his warriors and clamored to launch an attack on Konoha. Not only him, but the entire Cloud Shinobi Village is also full of fighting spirit. As for Kirigakure, the controlled fourth Mizuka Jigura did not have Obito's permission to attack, so he chose to suppress the matter. Only he and a few loyal Umbu knew about this in Kirigakure, and other villages, large and small, soon learned about this. After all, the whole of Konoha was destroyed, and Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others couldn't stop the news. At this time, Chen-Hui also reunited with Uchiha Izumi and others at the border of the Land of Fire. Outside a secret room, hundreds of Uchiha were on guard. In the secret room, Chen-Hui was sitting on the floor with several tribesmen, discussing the path after Uchiha. Chen-Hui, now you are the leader of Uchiha. Tell me, what should we do next? We all listen to you. The speaker was an old man named Uchiha Panghai, who was the original great elder of the Uchiha tribe and the oldest and most prestigious among the tribesmen who chose to follow Chen-Hui. Except for him, everyone else here is the strongest group of people in Uchiha now. Naturally, Uchiha Peak and Uchiha Spring are also included. And Uchiha Kwan is able to sit here, of course, because of Chen-Hui's instruction. After all, she is Chen-Hui's younger sister, and she is one of the rare geniuses who can unlock 3 Magatama at the age of 13. Naturally, others will not have objections. Advertisement. Chapter 39. Chen-Hui glanced around, and everyone below looked at him with admiration and respect. Obviously, he has become the backbone of everyone at this moment. At this time, even if he asked these people to go on a death mission, they probably wouldn't even frown. Seeing this, Chen-Hui must be lying if he said he wasn't moved. These people chose to stand behind him when he was at his weakest and at Kaga level, and he would naturally not let them down. Then, Chen-Hui took out a black scroll from his arms, which was exactly the one he was rewarded for completing the system task. However, Chen-Hui did not announce the scroll immediately, but prepared to reveal his plan first. Chen-Hui said slowly, "Since the day I was born, I, Uchiha, have been one of the strongest clans in the entire ninja world. In the Sengoku era, we and Senju joined forces to build today's Konoha. It has been almost 60 years in the blink of an eye. We created Konoha, and we naturally love this village. But since the second Hokage era, we Uchiha have been constantly targeted by Konoha. From top to bottom, even the villagers treat us one way on the outside and another behind the scenes. Now, Sarutobi Hiruzen is even preparing to completely destroy our clan. So, there is no need for us to miss this village anymore." At this time, Uchiha Panghai also stood up angrily and said, "That's right. Konoha actually chose to fall out with us, and there is no need for us to continue to tolerate it. Uchiha Hokai is a person who has lived since the founding of Konoha until now. Naturally, he knows what Uchiha has been going through all these years. Now under the leadership of Chen-Hui, Uchiha has regained its former glory, so Uchiha Panghai is still passionate even though he is old." Chen-Hui nodded and said in a deep voice, "Not only that, Konoha is already trying to destroy us. As the founders of Konoha, we naturally have the right to let it be dissolved again. In 4 years, I will make Konoha a thing of the past in the ninja world." Chen-Hui, who knew the plot, knew that during the Chunin exam 4 years later, Sand Shinobi and the Sound Ninja launched an attack on Konoha. And this is also his chance to capture Konoha and Sand Shinobi in one fell swoop. Uchiha Feng responded, "Under your leadership, Chen-Hui, we will naturally not be afraid of Konoha. When the time comes, we will follow you to destroy Konoha." "No, you are wrong." Unexpectedly, at this time, Chen-Hui rejected Uchiha Feng's words. When Uchiha Peak was in a daze, Chen-Hui said in a deep voice, "It's not you who follow me, but us Uchiha who work together to destroy Konoha." Then, Chen-Hui glanced at the people below and continued, "Since the Sengoku era, we Uchiha have stood at the top of the ninja world with our absolute strength. But after Konoha was established, We only lived in the glory of the Sengoku era and did nothing else. Even now, he, Sarutobi Hiruzen, dares to plot our destruction. Whose problem do you think this is? It's our own problem. If I hadn't appeared today, Uchiha would have become a thing of the past. Speaking of this, everyone below bowed their heads and remained silent. They knew that Chen Hui was right. They were able to survive today entirely because of Chen Hui's existence. Chen Hui continued. Our current glory was forged with the blood and tears of our ancestors back then. In the past 60 years, when the ninja world mentions Uchiha, the first thing that comes to mind is Uchiha Madara, those strong men from 60 years ago. I don't think it's an honor. When Chen Hui said this, the group of people below suddenly became even more ashamed. Seeing this, Chen Hui said the last words calmly. I hope that one day, when the ninja world mentions Uchiha, the first thing that comes to mind is those who are doing it, rather than those ancestors who have passed away. Otherwise, for those deceased ancestors, we unworthy descendants are just destroying the glory of Uchiha that they built with blood and tears. After saying this, Chen Hui stopped talking and let the group of people reflect on their own. Most of the people here now are actually no different from the two pillars in the original work. They talk about Uchiha's glory, but they don't have the absolute strength to maintain this glory. Instead, they give others the feeling that Uchiha is just that. Since he decided to lead this group of people to conquer the ninja world, Chen Hui naturally had to change this. Otherwise, the ultimate achievements of these arrogant people will never be that high, even with his help. At this time, Uchiha Penghai sighed and said, Chen Hui is right. We descendants are just smearing our ancestors now. The glory of Uchiha seems to have become a joke to our generation. When Konoha village was first established, except for the Senju clan, even if the remaining clans came together, we Uchiha were not afraid at all. But now, this group of people can sit on an equal footing with us. How ironic is this? Even Sharingan, which we are so proud of, has become an item for those ambitious people to spy on. Having said this, Uchiha Penghai stood up and bowed respectfully to Chen Hui. When Chen Hui saw this, he hurriedly stood up and helped him. As an elder and someone who had cared for him since childhood, Chen Hui would naturally not put on any airs. Unexpectedly, after Uchiha Penghai stood up, he firmly grabbed Chen Hui's arms. He looked at Chen Hui with a firm face and said, Not only are you superior in strength and save the entire clan, but you are also able to avoid being blinded by the superficial glory. I believe that Uchiha will regain its former glory under your leadership. Although I am old, I am still willing to contribute my strength to my Uchiha. From now on, I will help you take care of these people. If they don't change their nature, I will teach them a lesson. Chen Hui knows what Uchiha Penghai means. Although the tribesmen now obey Chen Hui because of his life-saving grace. But as time goes by, it is hard to guarantee that no one will jump out to question Chen Hui. After all, people's hearts are fickle, and not everyone is as familiar with Chen Hui as Uchiha Peak. Uchiha Penghai's move is to use the prestige he has accumulated within the clan over the years to ensure Chen Hui's absolute rule. Chen Hui has the secret scroll provided by the system, so he naturally doesn't worry about anyone jumping out to oppose him in the future. But Chen Hui was also very touched by Uchiha Penghai's caring gesture. After all, Uchiha Penghai didn't know that he had this magical thing called the system. So, Chen Hui looked at the others and said in a deep voice, Since Elder Penghai is willing to continue to shine for Uchiha, from now on, Elder Penghai will be the law enforcement elder of Uchiha. The clan rules within the clan have been re-established by Elder Penghai, and Elder Penghai has the power to reward and punish all clan members. Do you have any objections? No. The others almost roared the words. Uchiha Penghai, who is already over 60 years old, is willing to let Uchiha stand at the forefront again in the future. Naturally, they are not to be left behind. And after last night's danger of annihilation, they understood what Chen Hui had just said. If Uchiha wants to stand at the top of the ninja world, he really needs to change the thinking of his people. Chapter 40. All the clan members looked at Chen Hui firmly, especially Uchiha Izumi, whose eyes are filled with admiration and love. Okay. Chen Hui couldn't help but nod when he saw this. As long as these people are willing to change from the bottom of their hearts. He waved his hand and said, Everyone, sit down and let's continue talking about the topic just now. Then, seeing that everyone had done their job again, Chen Hui continued, Since everyone trusts me so much, I won't hide it from you. I'm ready to unify. Ninja. Realm. Chen Hui stated his goal word for word. After Chen Hui finished speaking, he lowered his head and waited quietly for someone to stand up and ask questions. But after waiting for a long time, there was still silence in the secret room. He couldn't help but raise his head, but what greeted him was the fanatical eyes of everyone. I saw Uchiha Feng asking excitedly, "Chen Hui, tell me, what should we do?" Chen Hui raised his eyebrows and said with some confusion, Don't you think my progress is too fast?" Uchiha Feng shook his head. "I'm not happy. I have imagined a long time ago that one day I will lead Uchiha to unify the ninja world." Another tribe member also responded, "Yes, and I believe that under Chen Hui's leadership and our concerted efforts, achieving this goal will not be a problem." "That's right. And even if we can't do it, our descendants can inherit this ideal. 2 generations of third generation. Uchiha will one day be able to unify the ninja world." "What are you talking about? That is depressing. It doesn't take so long." Yes. Chen Hui is only 13 years old now, and he can defeat 5 Kage-level players. In a few years, it will be easy to defeat the 5 shadows. These guys are really touching. Looking at the group of tribesmen who were talking loudly and supporting him in another way, Chen Hui couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. These people don't know that he has a system, nor do they know that he has now opened the Eternal Mangekyo. No matter how powerful Chen Hui's talent was before, he was the enemy of the entire ninja world. In the minds of ordinary people, he was determined to be unable to achieve this by himself. There is no need to mention First Generation and Uchiha Madara here. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen has become recognized as the strongest Hokage, laughing. It is conceivable that others cannot imagine what absolute power is. But even so, this group of people still express their support for Chen Hui. "Brother Chen Hui, I believe you can do it." At this time, Quan on the side also whispered encouragement to Chen Hui. Upon seeing this, Chen Hui put his hand on Quan's head and whispered, "I believe it too." Uchiha Quan suddenly blushed and nodded. Then, the people in the secret room became more and more outrageous, saying things like kicking Uchiha Madara in 1 year, punching Sage of 6 Paths in 2 years, rebuilding the world in 3 years. When Chen Hui heard this, he quickly spoke up to stop everyone from imagining. Chen Hui is still very self-aware. Although he has now opened the Eternal Mangekyo, there is still a gap between him and Madara. But if a year later, Uchiha Madara, who couldn't kick Rinnegan away, doesn't seem to be a problem? Thinking of this, Chen Hui couldn't help but cough a few times and stopped imagining. Then, he continued to speak to the quiet tribesmen. "Since everyone recognizes this goal, then let's work hard towards this goal. After all, this is not my problem alone, but the common expectation of all Uchiha people. And this goal is actually the goal of the founder of Uchiha thousands of years ago." The founder of Uchiha thousands of years ago? All the clan members were a little surprised. Seeing that everyone's curiosity was aroused, Chen Hui no longer concealed anything and told some things that happened thousands of years ago. When Sage of 6 Paths established the ninja world, they gave birth to 2 offspring, elder brother Indra and younger brother Ashura. Ashura is the founder of the Senju clan, and Indra is the founder of our Uchiha. Indra is an absolute genius. He can learn and master anything instantly, including our current seals, which were also created by him. Because of his talent, he was regarded as the successor of the ninja sect by those around him, so he worked extremely hard to improve his strength. On the other hand, Ashura is not as talented as Indra, so he is basically not very keen on practicing. Speaking of this, people of this race couldn't help but feel a little proud. Our ancestors were so powerful. Then our ancestors must have inherited the ninja sect in the end. Yuki said proudly. Chen Hui smiled and shook his head. When Sage of 6 Paths was selecting a successor, Indra's philosophy was to rule the ninja world with absolute power, while Ashura's philosophy was to influence the ninja world with love. And because Ashura often hangs out with other people, Indra treats others extremely harshly, so many people choose to support Ashura instead. So, in the end, Sage of 6 Paths chose Ashura. Our ancestor Indra was naturally unwilling to give in. He left the ninja sect, and then returned to the ninja sect to prepare to regain his lost position as heir when Sage of 6 Paths passed away. But by that time Ashura had already acquired the inheritance of Sage of 6 Paths, and his strength had grown by leaps and bounds. But even so, Indra still defeated Ashura. But the matter is far from over. In the end, Ashura used the combined power of the rest of the people to successfully repel Indra. After this battle, Indra started to create the Uchiha clan, and Ashura also started to create the Senju clan. This is also the reason why our two clans are hostile to each other. So that's it. All the clan members suddenly realized. However, some tribesmen still said unwillingly, I didn't expect that our ancestor failed. He worked so hard. It's all because Sage of Six Paths is biased and didn't even notice the efforts of our ancestors. Others also nodded in agreement. Chen Hui smiled slightly and said, let's not talk about whether Indra's philosophy is correct, but looking at the current situation of the ninja world, Ashura's philosophy is definitely wrong. After his death, the ninja sect immediately fell into pieces. The Senju clan at that time did not have the strength to prevent this division. This is why the ninja world is also torn apart now. During this process, I didn't see Ashura's love having any effect. It only reflects the greed and selfishness of people, including Senju Hashirama 60 years ago. He and Uchiha Madara joined forces and actually had the strength to unify the ninja world. But in the end, he also chose Ashura's path, convening the 5 Kage Conference and wanting to achieve balanced development in the ninja world. In front of him, the leaders of other ninja villages naturally nodded in agreement. But as soon as he dies, the ninja war will break out immediately. Looking at this alone, he has no strength in the ninja world, and he is not a so-called ideal dog. Others immediately nodded in agreement, but the current ninja world can only stand with strength. Ashura's philosophy is a joke in the face of human nature that has not been shocked. Chapter 41. Clan Leader, since we want to unify the ninja world, we should have a suitable base. A tribesman stood up and said, let's just take over a country now. That's right. Another tribesman also stood up. With our current strength, it is more than enough to win over a small country, which saves us the pain of redevelopment. That's right, everyone sit down. Chen Hui nodded in praise, and then motioned for them to sit down first. When the two sat down again, Chen Hui asked with a smile, which country do you think is better for us to win first? Let's discuss it. Of course it's the country of Taki, said a tribesman. The country of Taki is the strongest country among the 5 major countries, and 7 Tails also exists in it. With the abilities of clan leader Mangekyo Sharingan, controlling 7 Tails is a piece of cake. Coupled with our cooperation, we will be able to easily take down a powerful force when the time comes. At this time, another tribe member objected. Although the country of Taki is strong, there are many forces around it. It is surrounded by the Kingdom of Fire, the Kingdom of Earth, and the Kingdom of Iron. Once a war breaks out, we will face enemies from 3 sides at the same time, which is not good for us. That's right. Another tribesman spoke. And if the clan leader asks us to come to the eastern border, he will definitely abandon several countries in the western region. And in this eastern region, there are 5 countries. The country of You, the country of Waves, the country of Whirlpool, the country of Tea, and the country of Rainbow. Let's choose from these countries. What this tribesman said made sense. So other tribesmen also began to choose among these 5 countries. Then choose the country of Waves. As a small island country, we can develop in a hidden way. No, the country of Waves is too barren. If we choose it, we probably won't be able to develop in more than 10 years. That's right. So it's better to go to the Uzumaki country. After all, it's the country where the Uzumaki clan originally lived, and the country is still very wealthy. No. The country of Whirlpool has been friends with Konoha for generations. Even if we capture it, it will be difficult to calm the people. They might even stab us in the back at a critical moment. Then the Kingdom of Rainbow. No, the Kingdom of Rainbow is too remote, and there is also the Kingdom of Water on its side. In the future, we will definitely be blocked by it when we enter the ninja world. The tribesmen began to argue. Everyone had their own favorite country, but each country had obvious flaws. The situation immediately became stalemate. At this moment, Uchiha Izumi raised his hand cautiously. Well, isn't there still a Kingdom of Water? After Uchiha Kwan finished speaking, the entire secret room suddenly became quiet. The corners of the mouths of the tribesmen twitched. Although they were very proud, they were not so arrogant that they could conquer the Kingdom of Water with nearly 10,000 troops with just over 200 people. Just as a tribesman opened his mouth to explain Uchiha Kwan's doubts, another voice suddenly sounded. Yes, isn't there a Kingdom of Water? If we take it down, all the problems you are worried about will be solved. The tribesman looked to see who was speaking, but found that the one who spoke this time was Chen Hui. The other tribesmen naturally heard Chen Hui's words, and immediately they all swallowed their mouths. Clan leader, you are joking, right? A tribesman asked stammeringly. Of course not. Chunhui raised his lips and said, since we are all preparing to unify the ninja world, why not have some excitement now? Take the kingdom of water first. Gudong. When the clan members heard these extremely strong words, they immediately swallowed their saliva again. Ahem. At this moment, a coughing sound came to mind, and Uchiha Penghai slowly stood up. He said, I know that the patriarch is eager to quickly strengthen me, Uchiha. But at this time, among the tribesmen following us, leaving aside the old, young, and weak, there are only more than 200 people with Chunin-level combat capabilities, and among them there are only about 50 Jonin, and Kirigakure in the Land of Water has developed for decades, and there are already nearly 10,000 ninjas in it. Relying on us alone, it is really unrealistic to win the Kingdom of Water at this time. Uchiha Penghai took Chunhui's face into account, so he spoke tactfully, but it was obvious that he did not agree with taking the Kingdom of Water first. Other tribesmen also nodded in agreement. They also felt that it was too risky to choose to take over the Kingdom of Water first at this time. Chunhui shook his head with a smile and said, I never do anything I'm not sure about. Why don't you listen to my plan first? Seeing Chunhui's confident look, the tribesmen suddenly felt like they could really take over the Kingdom of Water. Chunhui continued, the Kingdom of Water has basically not communicated with the outside world since the end of the Third World War. So the information you know should be about the Mist Ninja Village during the Third War, right? The Mist Ninja Village at that time was very powerful. There were so many ninjas, and there were so many famous masters. But after these years of development, the strength of Mist Ninja Village has been reduced to less than half of what it was during the three-war period. How is this possible? I haven't seen anything big happening in Mist Ninja Village in these years. All the tribesmen suddenly exclaimed. Chunhui explained, because they have experienced extremely serious internal friction in these years. Remember the masked man who called himself Uchiha Madara who appeared last night? He is not Uchiha Madara. His true identity is actually Uchiha Obito, who died in the Battle of Kanabi Bridge. Tribe. Uchiha Obito? The Uchiha Obito who entrusted a Sharingan to Hatake Kakashi. As the first person to give Sharingan to outsiders, Obito is somewhat well known within the clan. That's right. Chunhui nodded. I will slowly tell you about his deeds in the future. Because his beloved woman died due to the conspiracy of the Mist Ninja Village during the Third War. So after he activated Mangekyo, he secretly controlled the Ten Tails Jinchūriki and Yagura of the 4th Mizukage. Then, in order to retaliate against the Mizukage village and consume the Mizukage village's strength, he controlled the 4th Mizukage to continue and carry forward the Blood Mist policy. He made ordinary ninjas and ordinary people in the entire water country jointly hostile to the Bloodline family and regarded them as the scourge of all wars. In the end, almost all the Bloodline families in the Mist Ninja Village were wiped out because of this, and more than half of the ordinary ninjas were also killed or injured. Not only that, many powerful people in the village also defected, including 6 Tails Jinchūriki, who also escaped from the Mist Ninja Village for some reasons. So at this time, although the Mist Ninja Village is still one of the top 5 ninja villages on the surface, its status has already been in jeopardy. I suspect that the current number of ninjas in the Mist Ninja Village is barely 3,000. Chapter 42. The Mist Ninja Village has become so weak. Uchiha Penghai was stunned. The expressions of other clan members were similar to his. They all couldn't believe that the Mist Ninja Village, which had dominated the ninja world for decades, was now so weak. It is no exaggeration to say that in terms of the number of ninjas, Taki Ninja Village is probably comparable to Kiri Ninja Village. If the Kiri Ninja Village continues to develop like this, even if it has a profound foundation, it will fall out of the ranks of the 5 major ninja villages in a few years. But this is a godsend opportunity for Uchiha at this time. Therefore, after a brief daze, the eyes of this group of tribesmen suddenly became fiery. How's it going? Do you still think I'm dreaming? Chunhui looked teasingly at this group of tribesmen who had changed greatly. Being teased by Chunhui, Uchiha Penghai suddenly felt very hot on his face. He coughed twice in embarrassment and said, I am foolish. Since the patriarch can come up with this idea, he will naturally have a solution. This girl, Quan, can't understand it yet. Other tribesmen also scratched their heads in embarrassment. It's just that you don't know the information about Mist Ninja Village. Chunhui smiled slightly and revealed the matter with a simple sentence. Then, he said seriously, now that we have selected the target, let's make a plan to capture the Mist Ninja Village. What we want to capture is not only the land and resources of Mist Ninja Village, but also his military power. So force can only serve as a deterrent. The most important thing is how to manage it in the future so that those fog ninjas can be used by us. Qianhui told everything about the situation in the Mist Ninja Village. After intense discussions, the plan to master the Mist Ninja Village was finally decided. Now that the plan is finalized, let me talk about the third thing today, which is also a major thing related to the true rise of my Uchiha. With that said, Qianhui pushed the black scroll next to his right hand forward. This is, Uchiha Penghai on the side asked doubtfully. Qianhui smiled slightly and said, this scroll contains a cultivation method. A cultivation method specifically for Sharingan. A training method for Sharingan? Uchiha Penghai was immediately moved, and then he quickly picked up the scroll and started reading. Qianhui also began to explain the function of the scroll to others. I think you all know that the opening and promotion of Sharingan are often accompanied by the painful experience of host. Everyone who is doing this started Sharingan after they lost something precious, suffered a life-or-death crisis, or suffered a major mental shock. Yukihamin and others nodded in agreement. When they opened Sharingan, they were indeed accompanied by unbearable past events. Upon seeing this, Qianhui continued, but with this scroll, the opening and advancement of our Sharingan can be improved through systematic practice. Even Mangekyo Sharingan, as long as you practice this method unremittingly, you can easily open it when the practice time reaches the required time. What? After Qianhui finished speaking, the tribesmen below suddenly went into an uproar. In their minds, Mangekyo represents the supreme power of Uchiha. Now Qianhui tells them that as long as they are willing to practice unremittingly, they can obtain this supreme power. How could this not shock them? Seeing this, Qianhui just calmly picked up the teacup in front of him and took a small sip. Then, he turned to look at Uchiha Hokai, who had finished reading the scroll and had an incredulous look on his face. Elder Penghai, since you have finished reading, it is up to you to explain it to them. Hearing this, Uchiha Penghai came back to his senses. Then, he looked at Qianhui with great respect and disbelief before slowly standing up. Uchiha Penghai said with a serious face, I have read and tried the scroll that the Patriarch gave me, and I can clearly feel the improvement in eye power. According to the records in the scroll, as long as the clan members are 5 years old, they can practice. After practicing this method, even a tribesman with the most ordinary talents can activate Sharingan in 1 year, that is, at the age of 6. Then I can reach the second Magatama at the age of 9, the third Magatama at the age of 12, the Mangekyo at the age of 18, and the ultimate Sharingan at the age of 30, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At this point, I only need to practice this method for 25 years. And this is just the tribe with the most average talent. If the people who practice this method are talented enough, they can reach Sharingan's ultimate earlier. Wow! After receiving Uchiha Penghai's confirmation, the ultimate clan members who were already shocked couldn't help but scream. At this time, Uchiha Mine asked, I know Mangekyo Sharingan, but what is Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Qianhui explained, although Mangekyo Sharingan is powerful, every time you use its pupil technique, it will consume a lot of pupil power. And Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power is actually fixed. Once the pupil power is used up, the host will become blind. But Eternal Mangekyo is different. After reaching this level, not only will the eye power be improved to a higher level, but the used eye power will also be restored after a period of time, so there is no need to worry about the risk of blindness. After practicing this method to unlock Mangekyo, even if you become blind due to exhaustion of pupil power before opening the Eternal Mangekyo, as long as you continue to practice unremittingly, you can regain the light after meeting the conditions to open the Eternal Mangekyo. That's it. Uchiha Feng suddenly realized. Qianhui smiled and continued. Back then, Uchiha Madara went blind due to excessive use of Mangekyo, but before his brother died, he gave his Mangekyo to Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Madara opened the Eternal Mangekyo. So normally if you want to open the Eternal Mangekyo, you have to transplant your brother's Mangekyo. But as long as you practice this method, all of this won't be a problem. After Qianhui finished speaking, the eyes of the clan members looking at the scroll in Uchiha Penghai's hand became even more intense. At this time, Uchiha Penghai also turned to look at Qianhui. This scroll. Qianhui directly stretched out his hand to stop Uchiha Penghai's words. You don't need to ask me about the origin of the scroll, just say, with this, can we unify the ninja world? Yes. Uchiha Penghai nodded firmly. Including ordinary people, we now have 634 clan members. Even if we do nothing, in 25 years, in front of 634 pairs of Mangekyo. No one in the ninja world will be able to resist my steps to unify the ninja world, Uchiha. 25 years is too long. Chunhui slowly stood up. After last night's battle, many people were greatly stimulated. Some get to the next level because of this, while others are still just one step behind. So I decided that all the Uchiha clan members will take a month off to practice the method of this scroll together. After a month, the country will be at war. Then, I will unify the ninja world within 10 years. Do you have any confidence?
Have.
A group of tribesmen almost roared out this word. Chapter 43. Looking at the people with high morale, Chunhui couldn't help but nodded with satisfaction. However, at this moment, Uchiha Peak's expression suddenly changed. Then, he looked at Chunhui seriously and said, "There is news from Konoha. Just last night, the clan members who chose to stay in Konoha were slaughtered by Itachi." Yukihime quickly told the news he had received. Before leaving Konoha, Yukihime left several of his shadow clone in Konoha so that he could deliver news to them as soon as possible. Just now, the shadow clone in Konoha automatically disbanded and reported what happened in Konoha during this period. These include the dirty water thrown by Sarutobi Hiruzen and the news that the group of Uchiha who stayed in Konoha were massacred. After listening to Uchiha Feng's story, everyone in the room had different expressions. After a long silence, Chan Hui's chuckle broke the silence. It seems that it is just as I expected. Staying with Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo will only make Konoha decline even more. How long has it been since then, and Sarutobi Hiruzen has started to turn his back on me? One of the tribesmen sighed. I just pitied the people who stayed in Konoha and fed the dogs with their loyalty. Uchiha Feng sneered when he heard this and said, "A bunch of guys who just follow the wind. They don't deserve our pity." Chunhui said before that they will pay the price for their choice. No, the price will come. Chunhui waved his hand and said, "Okay, let's not talk about these unhappy things. Go down and prepare. In a month, I think you can all make some progress." The clan members nodded, then turned and walked outside the house. They had to quickly inform the entire clan of the results of this discussion. At this moment, Yukihime walked up to Chen Hui. He frowned and asked, "Sarutobi Hiruzen poured all the dirty water on you, and the people in Konoha are furious now. Don't we need to shock them?" Chen Hui waved his hand and said, "Sooner or later, everyone will be buried. So let them be arrogant first. And those families in Konoha should already know the secret of last night. I think they will make the right choice. As for those civilians, I have never cared about their opinions. Okay, you've been working hard all night. Let's go and have a rest." Yukihime nodded, then turned and walked out of the room. Soon only Chen Hui and Uchiha Izumi were left in the room. "You have to practice hard, and you can't be as lazy as before." Chen Hui rubbed Uchiha Quan's little head. Uchiha Quan smiled innocently and said, "For Brother Chen Hui, I will practice hard. By the way, Brother Chen Hui, I saw that the swordsmanship you used before was very powerful and very handsome. I want to learn." "Okay, have a good rest today, and I'll start teaching you tomorrow." 1 month passed in a blink of an eye, and Chen Hui also began to lead his tribe to march towards the Kingdom of Water. In this month, the cultivation method given by Chen Hui has spread throughout the entire clan. From the very old to the 5-year-old children, everyone has begun to practice this secret technique specially created for Uchiha. However, Chen Hui didn't expect these people to be able to help him in a short time. After all, even the tribesmen of Samagatama would need 6 years to open Mangekyo. Even if you are a genius, you cannot start it without 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years from now will be the most suitable time for action as expected by Chen Hui. So until then, Chen Hui will still have to rely more on him. And these tribesmen have to wait until the ninja world is calmed down before they can play a role. Chen Hui knows the plot well, so his goals are also very ambitious. Since the Otsutsuki clan can feed on the entire universe, why can't he, Uchiha? At night, Terumi Mei returned home after a tiring day. In recent years, 4th Mizuki Jigura has gone crazy and has been targeting the Bloodline family and Bloodline ninjas crazily. In just a few years, the families that have existed since the establishment of the Kiris Ninja Village, the Onodin clan, the Teruyuichi clan, the Minazuki clan, and so on, these powerful clans in the ninja world have just become history. In order to eliminate these bloodline families, ordinary ninjas in the Mist Ninja Village also suffered numerous casualties. In the current Mist Ninja Village, it is difficult to even gather 3,000 ninjas. And not only that, there was even a strange trend in the village that said, You must not be a ninja. Therefore, almost no one signed up for the ninja school at this time, and it was already in name only. Terumi Mei naturally does not want to see the Mist Ninja Village slowly disappearing like this, but she is weak and unable to stop Yagura's tyranny. But even so, Terumi Mei is secretly gathering a group of like-minded Mist Ninjas, not only to protect themselves, but also to seek opportunities to change the Mist Ninja Village. But Yagura is powerful and captures everyone's aversion to war. So until now, there are only 100 or 200 people willing to follow Terumi Mei. This is because she has been recognized by Master Yuan. Jinchūriki, elder of Mist Ninja Village, has the same status as Mizukage. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei couldn't help but sigh deeply. She can't compare to Yagura now in terms of strength and power. Therefore, she could only hide behind the scenes in frustration, watching the Mist Ninja Village decline day by day, but unable to do anything. Terumi Mei shook her head and stopped thinking about these things that ruined her mood. Then, she hummed a relaxing tune and walked slowly towards the bathroom. Crash! The brisk whistle, accompanied by the sound of water, soon filled the entire room. Nearly half an hour later, Terumi Mei opened the bathroom door and walked out. But at this time, her whole body was completely naked. But this was her own home, and Terumi Mei didn't care. She walked slowly to the big mirror in the living room and looked at the graceful figure in the mirror with admiration. After a while, she bit her lower lip again and looked at herself in the mirror charmingly. With such a perfect figure, I don't know which kid will be cheap. After admiring herself for a while, Terumi Mei sighed deeply. Then, she said resentfully, "It's been 20 years, when will I meet my Prince Charming?" However, at this moment, Terumi Mei suddenly felt a breeze passing by. Her expression suddenly changed. You must know that she had closed the doors and windows tightly. How could the wind come in? Then, Terumi Mei turned around quickly, only to find a strange figure standing in the middle of the living room at some point. Hui looked at the shapeless and graceful figure in front of him in astonishment, and his throat moved imperceptibly. He murmured, "It seems that I came at the right time." No, it's not the right time." However, Terumi Mei was not as dazed as him. Terumi Mei, who was originally very ashamed and angry, suddenly changed her expression after hearing Hui's soliloquy and looked at Hui with murderous intent. She roared angrily, "You idiot! Go to hell!" Boyle-style Wu technique. The next moment, a daunting white fog quickly attacked Hui. Chapter 44. Seeing the white mist approaching, Hui remained unmoved. Terumi Mei couldn't help but sneered when she saw this. Her white mist was not just blocking her sight. If you are not careful, you will lose a layer of skin. However, just when Terumi Mei was about to watch the show, Hui, who was about to be hit by Boyle-style, disappeared instantly. Then Boyle-style, who had no target, hit the wall behind him, corroding the entire wall in a matter of seconds. So fast, Terumi Mei's eyes suddenly froze. At that moment, she didn't notice how Hui disappeared. Where? Terumi Mei observed the surroundings vigilantly, but could not find Hui at all. However, at this moment, she suddenly felt an inexplicable thing wrapping herself around her. Later, Terumi Mei didn't think too much and kicked behind her with a whip. Snapped. A crisp sound sounded, and the leg that Terumi Mei attacked had been captured by a pair of big hands. Hui wrapped Terumi Mei's body with a bedsheet with one hand, while holding her ankle tightly with the other hand. Their postures were indescribably ambiguous. Then Hui's head moved forward slightly, stopping next to Terumi Mei's ear. He said softly, "Your figure is indeed beautiful, but I think it's better to cover it up to facilitate our subsequent conversation. Otherwise, even if I am strong-willed, I might do something bad." Terumi Mei looked down when she heard this, only to find that the sheets wrapping her were actually her own bedroom sheets. But even so, she still doesn't have a good face after being seen. Terumi Mei said coldly, "Let go." When Hui heard this, he let go of Terumi Mei's ankle without saying a word. Then, without waiting for Terumi Mei to make a move, he instantly came to the side of the living room that was not destroyed and sat on the sofa very naturally. Time and space ninjutsu? This time, Terumi Mei finally guessed Hui's moves, but she became even more vigilant. After all, in the ninja world, time and space have always been synonymous with mystery and unsolvability. The fourth Hokage of Konoha relied on this ability to gain prominence in the 3 battles, and single-handedly influenced the situation on multiple battlefields. So looking at Hui with an innocent face in front of her, Terumi Mei didn't dare to be careless at all. What is the origin of this guy? At this time, Chun Hui seemed to have seen through Terumi Mei's thoughts. He introduced himself to Terumi Mei and said, "My name is Chen Hui, Hui. Uchiha." Terumi Mei's pupil shrank when she heard this. Then she asked coldly, "You Uchiha sneaked into my Kirigakure in the middle of the night. Does Konoha want to start a war with me, Kirigakure?" Start a war? Chen Hui pursed his lips and smiled. It seems that your internal problems in Kirigakure are very serious. You haven't received any news yet. News? What news? Terumi Mei asked warily. How about you sit down first? I'm not used to looking up at you all the time. Chen Hui stretched out his hand and motioned for Terumi Mei to come to the opposite side. After Terumi Mei thought for a moment, she walked slowly towards the opposite side of Chen Hui. After all, she was at a disadvantage at this time, so it was better to observe the situation first. However, as she moved around, she kept her eyes on Chen Hui to prevent him from suddenly acting violently. Seeing Terumi Mei's cautious look, Chen Hui couldn't help but shrugged. Said, "Don't be so vigilant. You have seen my abilities just now. If I really want to attack you, you won't be able to react." Terumi Mei thought the same thing. Although she had entered Kaga level at this time, she had no way to deal with the weird and difficult time and space abilities. But even so, Terumi Mei's vigilance still hasn't completely dropped. It wasn't until Terumi Mei sat down and faced Chen Hui that she noticed Chen Hui's extremely young face in front of her. He looks about 13 or 14 years old. Although I don't know what his strength is, with his weird time and space abilities, he can control the ninja world. Terumi Mei was secretly shocked. The person in front of her was too young. Chen Hui glanced across from him and was able to fully understand Terumi Mei's attributes. Name, Terumi Mei Bloodline. Boil Style, Lava Style Ninjutsu. Boil Style, Chow Mist Technique. Lava Style, Monster Melting Technique. Water Style, Water Formation Pillar. Water Style, Water Dragon Bomb. Chakra. Early stage of Kaga level combat strength evaluation. Early stage of Kaga level? You just entered Kaga level not long ago? Chen Hui nodded. So the success rate of his plan would be higher. After a brief shock, Terumi Mei snorted coldly and said, "Looking at your relaxed and comfortable look, people who don't know would think this is your home." Chen Hui explained calmly, "I have no ill intentions. Breaking into my home and peeping into my secrets is not malicious." Terumi Mei looked at Chen Hui quite annoyed. "It's indeed my fault for breaking into your house, but I didn't expect you to be like this at home." Chen Hui shrugged and said nothing. Terumi Mei became even more angry when she heard this. She growled, "This is my home. What do I want to do with you? I think we should continue the topic we just talked about." Seeing that Terumi Mei was on the verge of breaking out, Chen Hui immediately changed the topic very naturally. "Looking at your reaction just now, you still don't know." "No, to be precise, the fourth Mizukage hasn't told you about the big event that happened in Konoha a month ago, right?" Terumi Mei calmed down for a moment, then frowned and asked, "What happened in Konoha a month ago?" "It's nothing," Chen Hui said with a relaxed face. "I led the Uchiha clan to defect, and before I left, I blew up the entire Konoha." "What?" In just a few minutes tonight, Terumi Mei has been shocked several times by Chen Hui. Now the entire ninja world is in an uproar because of this incident. Unexpectedly, as Kirigakure, one of the 5 great ninja villages, the people in the village have not received any news at all. "It seems that your Mizukage protection work has been done well." Terumi Mei didn't pay attention to Chen Hui's cynicism, and she began to quickly analyze the intention of Mizukage's behavior. But soon, she remembered that there was a dangerous person sitting opposite. So she quickly suppressed her inner shock and pretended to be calm and continued to look at Chen Hui. "Good acting," Chen Hui said with admiration. Terumi Mei was unmoved. She asked calmly, "You came to see me in the middle of the night. Didn't you just want to tell me this insignificant thing?" Chen Hui nodded and said, "Of course not. I'm here to discuss cooperation with you." Terumi Mei frowned slightly and said, "As a rebellious ninja of Konoha, you should go to Mizukage to talk about cooperation. Why are you looking for me?" Chen Hui smiled slightly and said, "Because compared to Mizukage, I am more optimistic about you. What's more, the current Mizukage is just a puppet, and I'm not interested in him at all." "What did you say?" When Terumi Mei heard this, she stood up in shock. Chapter 45. Hey, be careful, you're gone." Chen Hui raised his head and motioned Terumi Mei to look at his shoulder. Terumi Mei looked down, only to find that the sheet on her left shoulder had slipped down at some point, revealing an indescribable part of her body. She immediately pulled up the sheets in a panic, then raised her head and glared at Chen Hui. Chen Hui curled his lips and said, "It's not like I haven't seen the panoramic view before. Why are you so nervous?" "You." Terumi Mei suddenly became furious and said secretly, "If you didn't have the ability of time and space and I couldn't hit you, I would definitely let you feel the passion that can melt your bones." Terumi Mei took a few deep breaths to suppress the depression in her heart. Then, she asked seriously, "Is what you just said true? Mizukichi-sama? Is he really being controlled? Didn't you already have a guess? Why do you still need to confirm it with me?" Chen Hui looked at her with a half-smile. Terumi Mei was immediately speechless. Chen Hui was right. She had guessed a long time ago. Yagura may be controlled by someone with ulterior motives. After all, as a companion who once overturned the third Mizukage, Terumi Mei is still very familiar with Yagura. In the past few years, Yagura's personality has changed so much that until now, he looks like a completely different person. So not long ago, Terumi Mei put forward the bold speculation that Yagura may be controlled. She therefore asked Qing to go test it out, but Qing had no chance to get close to Yagura yet. However, if the plot of the original work is followed, maybe in a few months, Qing will confirm Terumi Mei's guess. Terumi Mei looked at Chen Hui coldly and said, "What is your purpose? You don't need to talk nonsense about cooperating with me. No matter whether you are sincere or not, I have no interest in cooperating with you. Don't make a conclusion so early." Chen Hui said nonchalantly, "Why don't you listen to my cooperation plan first?" Terumi Mei remained silent, and Chen Hui took advantage of the situation and began to talk about his cooperation plan. "The person who controls Yagura now is actually a traitor of my Uchiha named Uchiha Obito. You must not know him either. He has a grudge against the Mist Ninja Village because the Mist Ninja Village once killed his beloved under a conspiracy. So when he awakens Mangekyo Sharingan, its eyes like mine." While talking, Chen Hui showed Terumi Mei his Mangekyo Sharingan. "What is Mangekyo Sharingan?" Terumi Mei couldn't help but ask. In the current ninja world, there are only a handful of people who know Mangekyo Sharingan. So Terumi Mei, who is new to the world, naturally does not know. Chen Hui explained casually, "It is the re-evolution of 3 Tomo Sharingan. After awakening, it will have various extraordinary powers. We call it eye technique." "Then your time and space ability is also a pupil technique?" Terumi Mei interrupted. "That's right." Chen Hui nodded. Then he continued, "Maybe if I say this, you are not very intuitive about Mangekyo's abilities. Let's put it this way. After possessing Mangekyo, those tailed beasts called disasters are just a group of obedient pets in my eyes." Terumi Mei, who was originally surprised by Mangekyo Sharingan's strange eye technique, immediately widened her eyes after hearing this. "What is a tailed beast?" "That is an absolute war machine. Tailed beasts rely on their huge size and nearly endless various types of chakra. For ordinary ninjas, they are simply a disaster. In addition to 3 tails, there are actually 6 tails in Mist Ninja Village, but 3 tails has been conquered by Yagura." Terumi Mei had seen 6 tails go berserk when she was a child, and it would have taken thousands of ninjas to fight it. And in order to suppress 6 tails, the village would sacrifice the lives of hundreds of ninjas every time. Such a powerful tailed beast actually became a pet in Chen Hui's mouth. After being shocked for a long time, Terumi Mei quickly grasped a key point. So, that person named Uchiha Obito relied on Mangekyo to control the 4th Mizukage who was the perfect Jinchūriki? Smart. Chen Hui smiled and nodded. What a weird ability. Terumi Mei swallowed secretly. Then, Terumi Mei asked doubtfully, "Since Mangekyo is so powerful, why don't you secretly control 4th Mizukage? Why do you need to come to me to cooperate?" "Because I find it troublesome." Chen Hui shrugged. "If I were to control 4th Mizukage, I would have to find a way every day to prevent others from discovering his abnormality. And once someone finds out, according to my personality, I will definitely kill them. So for the sake of Mist Ninja Village, I can only choose to cooperate with you." Terumi Mei sneered and said, "Then I really should thank you on behalf of Mist Ninja Village." "You're welcome," Chen Hui said with a smile. "You are so shameless." The corners of Terumi Mei's mouth kept twitching. Was she saying thank you? The atmosphere in the living room suddenly became quiet. Chen Hui didn't care, but Terumi Mei couldn't stand it anymore. After hearing so much shocking news in just a few moments, and with the mysterious Chen Hui sitting next to her, her heart was not as calm as it seemed. Finally, Terumi Mei couldn't help but spoke first. "What do you mean by cooperation?" "That's right." Terumi Mei compromised. "If Chen Hui is impatient and really chooses to control Yagura, then 3 Tails will add a mysterious Chen Hui. This is not something that the Mist Ninja Village can resist at this time. After all, as far as she knows, in addition to the perfect Jinchūriki Yagura in the Mist Ninja Village, there is also the Ten Tails Jinchūriki bubble that has defected, and she is the only Kaga level. Chun-Hui smiled slightly, not surprised by Terumi Mei's choice. He said, "The way to cooperate is very simple. In 3 days, I will lead my tribe into the Mist Ninja Village. During this time, you can also gather your trustworthy subordinates. When the time comes, you can spread the news that Mizukage is under control, and then we work together to take down Mizukage and his men. In the future, I can support you to become the 5th Mizukage, and you can also change the Mizukage village according to your own ideas. What about your conditions?" Terumi Mei asked unmoved. "I don't think you are a person who would suddenly be kind-hearted and willing to help me for free, right?" "Of course I have my own goals." Chun-Hui smiled slightly. He is naturally not a person who suddenly becomes kind-hearted. His ultimate goal is to control all the forces in the entire Mist Ninja Village, including the remaining 3,000 ninja troops. Otherwise, he would not go to all the trouble to find Terumi Mei to cooperate. If he just wanted the resources and land of Mist Ninja Village, he could easily capture this place by himself. Chapter 46. Chun-Hui changed his carelessness and looked at Terumi Mei calmly and seriously. He said calmly, "My purpose is very simple. When you become the 5th Mizukage, I want you to lead the remaining Mist Ninjas and join my camp." "Your camp? What do you mean?" Terumi Mei frowned and looked at Chun-Hui. Chun-Hui said calmly, "Just lead the Mist Ninja Village and listen to my orders. You want to control the entire Mist Ninja Village through me?" Terumi Mei's eyes widened when she heard this, and then she stood up suddenly and glared at Chun-Hui. "Don't be so excited. Sit down and talk." Chun-Hui waved his hand slightly. "It's not control, it's just an investment or a commission." "Invest? In trust?" Terumi Mei slowly sat down, feeling increasingly confused and feeling like she couldn't keep up with Chun-Hui's rhythm. "That's right." Chun-Hui nodded. "I have to do something. If a large number of ninjas come to help during the process, the progress of this matter will be much faster. If you bring the Mist Ninja Village to join me at this time, it will be considered an investment in me in advance. When this is done, you will also get generous rewards. As for the manipulation of the 4th Mizukage in your Mist Ninja Village, as long as you join, it will naturally be considered my matter, and I will handle it appropriately. Actually, this is like I issued a task to your Mist Ninja Village, but the reward for the task cannot be paid until my work is completed." When Chun-Hui said this, Terumi Mei immediately understood what Chun-Hui meant, but she didn't dare to be careless and tried with a sneer. "If it's just a simple commission, then why do you bother so much? You are talking in such a roundabout way, but you are not trying to use my Mist Ninja Village to achieve an ulterior secret." Unexpectedly, when Chun-Hui heard this, he curled his lips in disdain. "What's your attitude?" Terumi Mei was furious. Chun-Hui sneered and said, "Whatever I want to do, I will secretly hide it from others. To tell you the truth, the power of Mist Ninja Village can indeed help me a lot, but it doesn't really mean that I am indispensable for you. Even without your help, I can still lead my tribe to accomplish my goal. And there are always people who are greedy for life and afraid of death in the ninja world. As long as I gather these people together, they won't be much weaker than the current decaying Mist Ninja Village. At best, it just takes a little more time. And if you are unwilling to cooperate, at worst I will destroy your force and then control your Mizukage. Although doing that may result in very few people in Mist Ninja Village willing to support me, but I don't care. Those who are unwilling to support, just kill them." Terumi Mei gritted her teeth and looked at Chun-Hui. Her eyes wanted to eat Chun-Hui. "Are you threatening me?" Chun-Hui said calmly, "I can't talk about threats. I just want you to understand this situation. Now there are only 2 choices in Mist Ninja Village. First, you agree to cooperate with me, and then everyone will be happy. When I complete my goal, your Mist Ninja Village will also receive generous rewards. Second, if you refuse, then I will deal with you now. And in 3 days, I will lead my tribe into the Mist Ninja Village and control the 4th Mizukage. In your village, those who are willing to surrender will live, and those who are not willing to surrender will die. Although you are very brave, I don't believe that everyone in Mist Ninja Village is like you. Even if there are only 100 or 200 people, or even less, who are willing to surrender, I don't care. It's all for nothing anyway. Besides, I'm not negotiating with you. You." After hearing this, Terumi Mei immediately glared at Chun-Hui. The anger in her heart made her continue to breathe heavily, and the sheets on her body slipped down again at some point. revealing a piece of naked body. At this time, in Terumi Mei's heart, she wanted to tear Chun Hui into pieces immediately. But no matter what, her strength is low. Moreover, after the Mist Ninja Village adopted the enhanced version of the Blood Mist policy, the strong men in the village died and defected. Only then can the boy in front of him speak out arrogantly and dare to threaten a village by himself. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei couldn't help but sigh deeply in her heart. But she couldn't just sit there and wait for death. So her brain began to think of countermeasures quickly. Soon, an idea came to mind. Suddenly, Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. Then she said coldly, "Don't even think about lying to me. If you are absolutely sure to control the Mist Ninja Village, why are you sitting here asking for my opinion? It turns out that the Uchiha Obito you mentioned also has Mangekyo Sharingan and can also control Yagura, so he must be a very troublesome existence. Are you afraid that he will try to hinder you?" "I'm afraid of Obito?" Ha 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 ha. Chen Hui suddenly laughed, and Terumi Mei suddenly felt something was wrong. Chen Hui finally stopped laughing, and then he looked at Terumi Mei teasingly. "I didn't expect you to put your last hope on the biggest enemy of Mist Ninja Village. But I'm afraid you don't know that just a month ago, Obito joined forces with the top management of Konoha to completely destroy the Uchiha clan. But even if he joins forces with several other Kage levels, a total of 5 Kage levels, he is still no match for me. Of those 5 people, one had his arms cut off by me, one had his eyes taken off, and one had his heart stabbed. Do you still think Obito can save your Mist Ninja Village?" "What?" Hearing this, Terumi Mei was shocked. What did she hear? The 13 or 14-year-old boy in front of him actually defeated 5 Kage level combined attacks. Chen Hui didn't pay attention to the extremely shocked expression on Terumi Mei's face. He still said calmly, "That's it for now. Tell me your decision." Terumi Mei came back to her senses and faced this difficult choice again. How she wanted to reject Chen Hui directly. But she knew that what Chen Hui said before was true. Mist Ninja Village really couldn't handle Chen Hui's attack. After all, as long as Chen Hui controls Yagura, he can hold back the nearly 3,000 army of Mist Ninja Village. After all, the remaining 3,000 Mist Ninjas are a group of ordinary ninjas, and most of the elites have been consumed in the battle to annihilate the bloodline family. Not to mention that behind Chen Hui, there are an unknown number of Uchiha people. In addition, Chen Hui defeated 5 Kage-level team-ups. Once the war breaks out, the nearly 60-year-old foundation of Mist Ninja Village may be destroyed in one fell swoop. And just like Chen Hui said, if the Mist Ninja Village is destroyed, naturally some of the Mist Ninjas who are greedy for life and fear death will choose to surrender. Moreover, Chen Hui can choose other villages. Although it takes a lot of time, he can always achieve his expectations. But the Mist Ninja Village is really... Thinking of this, Terumi Mei suddenly felt so angry. She hated the Uchiha Obito she had never seen before. If Uchiha Obito hadn't controlled Yagura and consumed nearly 70% of the Mist Ninja Village's strength, she wouldn't be so passive now. Terumi Mei secretly smiled bitterly. How ridiculous is it that the Mist Ninja Village, one of the 5 great ninja villages, is threatened to this extent by one person? Chapter 47. Tell me about your mysterious purpose. Terumi Mei still compromised. She had no choice but to see the Mist Ninja Village she grew up and become the history of the ninja world. Seeing Terumi Mei compromise, Chen Hui suddenly became very happy. After all, being able to control one of the 5 great ninja villages would also provide a lot of convenience for his plans. What do you think of the Mist Ninja Village? It doesn't matter. Chen Hui will show them what absolute strength means. And after Chen Hui solved Yagura, Terumi Mei became the only Kage-level strongman in Mist Ninja Village. This is also the step Chen Hui prepared for the group of Mist Ninjas. After all, even the strongest Terumi Mei has surrendered, and the other Mist Ninjas will have much less psychological pressure to surrender. Coupled with the shock of his absolute strength, Chen Hui is confident that more than 80% of the Mist Ninja will obey his orders from now on. This is why Chen Hui tried his best to force Terumi Mei. After all, he didn't want to directly massacre the Mist Ninja Village unless it was absolutely necessary. After the matter was settled, Chen Hui returned to his nonchalant appearance. He said easily, "Since the birth of ninjas, or to be precise, since the birth of human beings, wars have been constantly launched because of the greed in their hearts. Especially after the birth of ninjas and the outlawing of samurai, the brutality of the war increased exponentially. But all this was alleviated 60 years ago when the 2 greats Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara appeared. Because of the fear of the strength of these 2 people, The ninja world has enjoyed a rare peace for more than 10 years. During this period, major ninja villages have been established one after another. But once these two people die, the major ninja villages will start to move again. What are you talking about? Terumi Mei frowned. But soon, Terumi Mei thought of a possibility, and her eyes suddenly widened. Do you want to restore peace to the ninja world? Almost. Chun-Hui nodded. Hiss. Terumi Mei suddenly took a breath. Then her expression suddenly changed and she said in a strange tone, "You just opened your mouth to destroy the Mist Ninja Village." The words, peace in the ninja world, came out of your mouth. It always feels so unreal to me. Chun-Hui was also angry. He said, now the major ninja villages in the ninja world are hostile to each other. Peace cannot be created without sparing some blood. Terumi Mei did not answer. After all, what Chun-Hui said was true. After a moment of silence, she asked, then what are you going to do? Just knock down each ninja village one by one? Chun-Hui said easily. Nanny. Terumi Mei feels that the number of times she has been shocked today can be compared to the entire first half of her life combined. Chun-Hui always put on a relaxed and comfortable face, but the words in her mouth always made her feel uneasy. The corners of Terumi Mei's mouth kept twitching, and she said angrily, do you think you are Uchiha Madara or Senju Hashirama? Even if you lead the Uchiha clan, you probably won't be able to capture the Mist Ninja Village at its peak. And the Mist Ninja Village at its peak is still far behind the powerful Konoha and Cloud Shinobi. So if we want to take over the entire ninja world based on our current situation, it is simply a fantasy. Then what if I have the strength of the two of them? Chun-Hui asked. Unexpectedly, Terumi Mei just said quietly, if you really have the strength of Uchiha Madara, will you still lead your clan members to escape from Konoha in embarrassment? Chun-Hui smiled and was not prepared to answer directly. After all, his strength increased dozens of times overnight. Even Terumi Mei would not believe it if he told him this. He said calmly, I am indeed still far behind the level of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. They can fight against the entire ninja world on their own. Now I can fight against one or two ninja villages on my own. I can't handle more than that. But within 3 years... Speaking of this, Chun-Hui paused. Then he waved his hand and said, forget it. You won't believe it even if I tell you about the future. Chun-Hui stopped talking about this topic and slowly stood up. Since you have agreed to this cooperation, I hope you can keep your promise in 3 days. Terumi Mei stood up when she saw this, and then she noticed that most of the sheets on her body had fallen off. She immediately glared at Chun-Hui and then quickly wrapped herself tightly. Tisk! Chun-Hui shook his head sadly. Seeing this, Terumi Mei suddenly said coldly, what do you need me to do in 3 days? Chun-Hui, just take your people and stand aside to watch the show, so as not to be accidentally injured. Do you still want to control Yagura and use 3 Tails to deal with them? Terumi Mei asked with a frown, feeling a trace of anger rising in her heart again. Chun-Hui said calmly, don't worry, it's just 3,000 ordinary Mist Ninjas. I won't be able to control 3 Tails to deal with them. I know you agreed to cooperate not because of my strength, but because you were worried that I would control 3 Tails to cause killing. So to put your mind at ease, I don't mind letting you see the tip of the iceberg of my strength before I leave. With that said, Chun-Hui appeared next to Terumi Mei in an instant, and then put his hand on Terumi Mei's shoulder. Terumi Mei was immediately shocked and shouted, you want to do it? But before he finished speaking, Chun-Hui took him out of the room instantly, and then appeared above the Mist Ninja Village. What do you want to do? Being inexplicably approached by Chun-Hui, Terumi Mei suddenly looked at him with an unkind expression. Let you see a little ninjutsu of mine. Chun-Hui smiled slightly. Then he raised his right hand, and a small black ball instantly condensed in the palm of his hand. I have already agreed to cooperate. What else do you want to do to Miss Ninja Village? Terumi Mei was immediately anxious when she saw this. She could feel that the black ball in Chun-Hui's hand contained an extremely terrifying power. Then she would take action against Chun-Hui without saying a word. But she soon discovered that her whole body seemed to be imprisoned. Except for her eyeballs and mouth, other parts could not move at all. At this time, the black ball in Chun-Hui's hand was also ready. He said calmly, the name of this move is Big Spiral Wheel U. After saying that, he flipped his hand and the black ball in his hand fell straight to the ground. No. Terumi Mei tried her best to stop it. She couldn't imagine what would happen if an attack with such concentrated energy fell to the ground. However, she could only watch the black ball falling to the ground. Boom! After a short period of silence, a huge roar suddenly resounded through the sky. Then, Terumi Mei saw a white semicircular energy wave quickly spreading around, covering the entire mist ninja village in a moment. She could clearly see that after those houses were enveloped by energy waves, they were instantly smashed to pieces. After a long time, when the energy wave dissipated, the originally prosperous mist ninja village was reduced to ruins. Terumi Mei stared blankly at this scene, and suddenly her heart was filled with despair. Chunhui asked with a smile, "How powerful is my ninjutsu?" When he was in Konoha, he didn't dare to play such a powerful spiral wheel because he didn't have many chakras at the time. But things are different now. Chunhui continues to fuse the chakra of Nine Tails and Ashura. The amount of chakra he produces has already reached a terrifying level, so there is no need to worry about anything when using this move. Now it seems that the power is very good. Chapter 48. Devil. You devil? Terumi Mei kept mumbling. The Mist Ninja Village was a prosperous village 1 second, but turned into ruins the next. The huge gap, coupled with the grief of her home being destroyed, made Terumi Mei's spirit instantly become trance-like. Chunhui, on the other hand, seemed unaware of this. He asked with a smile again, "How powerful is my ninjutsu?" As soon as these words came out, Terumi Mei suddenly recovered from the grief of her home being destroyed. "You!" Terumi Mei glared at Chunhui and shouted sadly, "Didn't I already agree to cooperate? Why do you still do such a thing? Is this what you call peace? This is the life of an entire village. Hundreds of thousands of people." Facing Terumi Mei's roaring question, Chunhui remained unmoved and still looked at Terumi Mei with a smile. Terumi Mei, who was panting after yelling, felt a chill in her heart when she saw this. "Is this what you call peace? You are so cruel. You killed hundreds of thousands of people without blinking an eye." At this time, Chunhui finally responded. He shrugged and said, "It's just destroying a village. It's not like I haven't done it before." Seeing this, Terumi Mei was speechless again. She couldn't imagine what kind of hard-heartedness was hidden under Chunhui's 13 or 14-year-old face. When Chunhui saw that Terumi Mei next to him had no movement, he immediately turned his head to take a look. At this moment, Terumi Mei was staring at him with an extremely terrifying look, as if she would devour him in the next second. When Chunhui saw this, he couldn't help but rub his head with a headache. Then Chunhui sighed and said helplessly, "The most important thing for a ninja is to observe changes in the surrounding environment. It's been such a long time since we met. Haven't you noticed yet?" "Well, what?" Terumi Mei was stunned when she heard this, and then she seemed to think of something and immediately looked down again. After observing for a while, she finally noticed something was wrong. It's so quiet down there. Although Chunhui's attack was powerful, it could never wipe out everything in Mist Ninja Village. With the hundreds of thousands of people in Mist Ninja Village, there are always some lucky or special people who can survive. Especially some powerful ninjas have a greater chance of surviving. After surviving, the injured among these survivors will definitely cry out loudly, and the uninjured ones will crawl out of the ruins after a while. Even those who are more vigilant will definitely find her and Chunhui extremely obvious in the sky. But at this time, the Mist Ninja Village below was peaceful, as if no one was inhabited at all. Uninhabited? Terumi Mei's heart trembled suddenly. Only then did she realize that something was very wrong in the Mist Ninja Village tonight. It stands to reason that when she first met Chunhui, after performing the loud boil style, she would definitely attract the attention of many patrolling ninjas or surrounding residents. But at that time, she and Chunhui had been talking for so long, but no one came to visit. In the Kiri Ninja Village, where the curfew is extremely strict and silence comes at night, this is obviously not normal. "Did you find it?" Chunhui smiled slightly. Terumi Mei immediately asked, "This is not the Mist Ninja Village. What the hell is going on? And why can't my body move? Untie me quickly." Looking at Terumi Mei, who looked like a fried lion, Chunhui was not ready to continue teasing her. After all, it took a lot of effort to get Terumi Mei to agree to cooperate. If she changes her mind because of this, Chunhui will be very distressed. Although this is unlikely to happen, however, in order to prevent accidents, Chunhui still did not lift the restriction on Terumi Mei. Chunhui smiled and said, "This is indeed not the Mist Ninja Village. This space is a mirror space that I built based on the Mist Ninja Village. Everything in the space is the same as the outside world. The only difference is that all the rules of this space are made by me. And the destruction of this space will not affect the real Mist Ninja Village outside. But the person I pulled into this space is dead. He is really dead." Mirror space? A trace of confusion flashed in Terumi Mei's eyes. This was the first time she heard this word. But the only thing she understood was that the blow just now was Chen Hui's warning to her. Once she disobeys Chen Hui's instructions, maybe the Mist Ninja Village in the outside world will really become like this. Chen Hui nodded, and then he waved his hand below, and the scene below suddenly changed again. I saw that the ruins below began to disappear quickly, and then returned to the way they were before the attack in a moment. At the same time, Terumi Mei and Chen Hui also landed on the ground. Just at this moment, Terumi Mei discovered that in front of them, two masked Mist Ninja Umbu were slowly walking towards them. These two people are the curfew patrol officers arranged by Yagura. However, as if the two curfew officers could not see Terumi Mei and Chen Hui, they walked slowly past Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei couldn't help but stretch out her hand in front of these two people, but these two people went straight through Terumi Mei's arms. Obviously, although they are close to each other, they are no longer in the same space as Terumi Mei. So amazing. Terumi Mei looked at this scene in shock and murmured, "Even the legendary Sage of Six Paths is nothing more than this, right? I'm beginning to believe that you will be able to surpass Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara in the future. I have always believed in myself." Chen Hui shrugged. Then Chen Hui snapped his fingers, and he and Terumi Mei instantly returned to the original room. After doing all this, Chen Hui stretched. At the same time, he said lazily, "Remember, don't do anything for 3 days. Just stand aside and watch with your people." Then, he gave Terumi Mei a meaningful look. "I hope you will keep your promise. This is also the only chance for your Mist Ninja Village. Otherwise..." With that said, Chen Hui disappeared into the room instantly. Then, the room shattered like a mirror. But when the broken picture disappeared, nothing changed. Terumi Mei knew that she had returned to the real world. At the same time, she also knew the second half of what Chen Hui had not finished. If she breaks her promise, the scene just now will be the final fate of Mist Ninja Village. Terumi Mei sat down on the sofa in despair, muttering, "What should I do?" She had agreed to Chen Hui's conditions before, but it was actually a delaying tactic. But after seeing the scene where the Mist Ninja Village was reduced to ruins, her thoughts completely disappeared. Terumi Mei was thinking quietly, but her mind was in chaos. It wasn't until the first ray of sunlight hit the room that Terumi Mei woke up with a start. Unknowingly, she thought about it all night. But after thinking about it this night, she also had the answer in her heart. Cooperating with Chen Hui, maybe Mist Ninja Village will be destroyed in the future because of this, but it is also possible to get a brighter future. But if he refuses to accept it at this time, the Mist Ninja Village will only be destroyed. So Terumi Mei secretly made up her mind to get people in her department to agree to cooperate with Chen Hui no matter what. As the only Kaga level in Mist Ninja Village and a high-ranking member of the group that opposes Yagura, Terumi Mei has this prestige and ability. At dawn, the curfew in Mist Ninja Village was naturally lifted. But Terumi Mei did not rest, but quickly changed her clothes. Then he galloped away in one direction. Chapter 49. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. Night has gradually fallen in Mist Ninja Village. For the residents of Mist Ninja Village, this also means that the curfew has begun. So the villagers quickly rushed to their homes, and before the last ray of sunlight completely disappeared, they returned home and closed the doors and windows. Vice Admiral under the Blood Mist policy, even these villagers are always worried about their lives. Especially after the curfew starts, they will never dare to appear outside, because the inspection personnel arranged by Yagura will not care about your reasons. For them, after the curfew is launched, as long as someone other than patrol personnel appears on the street, there is only one word: kill. On the watchtower at the gate of Mist Ninja Village, 2 Mist Ninjas were lazily admiring the scenery outside the village. For the Mist Ninjas under the Blood Mist, this is the only safe and comfortable job in the village, so they cherish this rare time. After all, Mist Ninja Village is one of the 5 major ninja villages. How could anyone dare to attack the base camp of Mist Ninja Village? However, what these 2 people didn't know was that right behind them, a group of nearly 300 people had dispersed in the residential area on the edge of Mist Ninja Village. They are the only group of Mist Ninjas in the Mist Ninja Village, led by Terumi Mei, who are willing to support her in overthrowing the Blood Mist policy. Do you really choose to believe that Uchiha Chenhui? The old man looked at Terumi Mei beside him. He was the elder of the Mist Ninja Village, the Jinchūriki. Although Master Yuan is old at this time, he can still show some strength. So he also followed Terumi Mei here. Terumi Mei said rather complicatedly, "Master Yuan, I think this is the only chance for our Mist Ninja Village. If what Shinhui said is true, facing Yagura, who is leading the trend of the Mist Ninja Village, and Uchiha Obito, who is controlling him behind the scenes, only those of us are unable to resist the continued implementation of the Blood Mist policy, especially now that Chen Hui is also eyeing the Mist Ninja Village. The strength and weird space-time abilities displayed by Yi Chenhui, I don't think the Mist Ninja Village at this time has the power to resist him, so following his instructions may be the only way out for Mist Ninja Village at this time. Master Yuan said in a deep voice, "You are seeking the skin of a tiger. If you are not careful, the Mist Ninja Village will fall into an abyss of eternal disaster." "I know." Terumi Mei shook her head and said, "But this is our only choice, isn't it?" Master Yuan was silent. He believed in Terumi Mei, who he had trained with his own hands, and he also knew that Terumi Mei loved Mist Ninja Village deeply. Therefore, although the information Terumi Mei said was incredible, he still chose to believe it. However, Master Yuan was still very unwilling to leave the Mist Ninja Village under the control of others. Moreover, since Chen Hui had never seen him take action, Master Yuan always had a hint of doubt about Chen Hui's strength. So Yuanshi continued, "Even so, I am still not willing to leave the fate of Mist Ninja Village to a stranger like this. Since that Uchiha Chenhui said that we don't need to take action, then we will just sit back and watch the fight between tigers and mountains. If he can really easily deal with Yagura and the thousands of fog ninjas under him, I have nothing to say. If he can't, or both of them lose, then..." Speaking of this, Master Yuan's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Terumi Mei nodded silently, but having seen Chen Hui's tricks, she didn't think they had a chance to reap the benefits. At this moment, Terumi Mei suddenly felt an extremely vast aura slowly approaching outside the Mist Ninja Village in the distance. She suddenly said solemnly, "Chen Hui is here." At the same time, Yagura and the Mist Ninja Village also looked towards the entrance of the village with some feeling. On the watchtower, the two Mist Ninjas felt an inexplicable tightness in their chests, as if they were being targeted by some ferocious beast. Then, the two of them discovered that a black shadow was rapidly expanding in the thick fog in the distance. One of the fog ninjas wanted to see what it was, so his teammates alertly sounded the warning bell on the side. Dang song. The crisp ringtone is so harsh in the Mist Ninja Village under the curfew. Although the Mist Ninjas in the village didn't know what was happening, they quickly went out and rushed to the entrance of the village. After all, the last time the bell rang was when Zabuza united with the Onodin clan to rebel. 100 meters outside the Mist Ninja Village, Chen Hui raised his head and glanced at the gate of the Mist Ninja Village in front of him. Then he said calmly, "Since we have been discovered, let's go say hello first." Uchiha Feng on the side nodded, and then he immediately led several tribesmen to speed towards the gate of Mist Ninja Village. And Chen Hui led the remaining clan members and still walked forward unhurriedly. What he brought here this time was a clan member whose strength reached Jonin level in the capital clan. After a month of hard training, especially when Chen Hui directly opened up all the ninjutsu in the clan, the number of clan members who have reached the Jonin level has exceeded the 100 mark. However, there are only about 50 people who own 3 Tomo Sharingan. The rest are the 2 Magatama tribesmen who have developed strong ninjutsu and gained strength. But this time, apart from Chen Hui himself, he selected 100 people among them to follow him to attack the Mist Ninja Village. After all, although Chen Hui is the leader of the Uchiha clan, it does not mean that he is the nanny. The other Uchiha clan members also need to improve their strength. Only in battle will Uchiha strength improve by leaps and bounds. This is why in the 60 years since Konoha was founded, those at the top rarely let Uchiha participate in wars. Didn't you see that in the Sengoku era, even the Uchiha tribesmen had Kage-level strength even if they only had 3 Magatama? And at that time, except for children, almost all the remaining clan members had the strength of elite Chunin or above, and Jonin was also very common. At least 6 out of 10 have Jonin strength. After the establishment of Konoha, except for a few people of this generation, the strongest Uchiha could only reach the elite Jonin level. It's hard to find just one Jonin among 10 ninjas. Moreover, Uchiha Shursui, Uchiha Fugaku, and Uchiha Itachi of this generation have all experienced extremely cruel wars. This is Konoha's conspiracy against Uchiha. Uchiha does not have to participate in the war as a guard. On the surface, it shows Uchiha's power in Konoha, but secretly it restricts Uchiha's development. And it also deepens the conflict between Uchiha and other villagers. Why don't you, Uchiha, have to sacrifice? However, some tribesmen are very grateful for this, and are even proud of it. And these Uchiha people also paid a bloody price for this. Number 16. While thinking, Yukihime and others also approached the gate of Kiri Ninja Village. Then they stopped and threw dozens of kunai with their hands, heading straight for the gate of the Mist Ninja Village. The two Mist Ninjas on the watchtower suddenly changed their expressions after seeing the explosive charms on the kunai tails, and then jumped off the tower without thinking. Boom! After a loud noise, a huge mouth was blown out of the gate of Mist Ninja Village, and with this loud noise, the entire Mist Ninja Village suddenly boiled. Chapter 50. Soon, Chen Hui led the remaining clan members to the gate of Mist Ninja Village. Seeing this, Yukihime and others turned around and returned to the team without hesitation. After arriving at the entrance of Mist Ninja Village, Chen Hui stopped moving forward. Tonight's battle was going to be fought outside the Mist Ninja Village. After all, after tonight, Mist Ninja Village will become his territory. It would be fine if Chen Hui just accidentally damaged some places during the battle. After all, it could be used as a deterrent to the Mist Ninja. But if he gets excited and uses his full combat power to accidentally destroy the entire Mist Ninja Village, he will have to resolve the mess in the end. Although he can also use the mirror space, that would lose the meaning of his big fanfare. If the Mist Ninja Village was unscathed after fighting for a long time, then Chen Hui would be much less of a deterrent to the Mist Ninjas. So, 100 people stood quietly 10 meters away from the Mist Ninja Village. The tribesmen behind Chen Hui wanted to have a vigorous battle immediately, but remembering Chen Hui's previous instructions, they still suppressed the impulse in their hearts. However, the eyes of this group of people looking at Mist Ninja Village were very passionate and expectant. They have been eager to fight for a long time. A month ago, this group of people watched Chen Hui make Kamui, but they were unable to provide any help to Chen Hui. So they are full of expectations for today's battle. The Mist Ninja Village did not keep them waiting for too long. Hundreds of Mist Ninjas arrived at the entrance of the village, one after another. As time went by, there were more and more Mist Ninjas at the entrance of the Mist Ninja Village, and in a moment the number exceeded 1,000. A group of people hiding in the darkness outside the Mist Ninja Village, Terumi Mei and Yuanshi looked at each other, and also led their group to quietly join the ranks of the Mist Ninja. However, a group of them gathered tightly together, only standing on the edge of the large force of Mist Ninja. Moreover, the position they chose was very precise, and they could quickly stay away from the large Mist Ninja army at any time. Chen Hui glanced at Terumi Mei and said nothing. After all, he had already said in advance, tonight, Terumi Mei and the others only need to stand aside and watch him show off his Kimui. Soon, all the Fog Ninjas in the Fog Ninja Village who were capable of fighting gathered together. Although Obito's Blood Mist policy exhausted the entire Mist Ninja Village's elite, it also made the surviving Mist Ninjas more disciplined. But their strength is still very good. Who are you? Why did you attack my Mist Ninja Village in the middle of the night? As a shout came, the Mist Ninja army instantly separated to form a passage. Then a man with green hair and purple eyes, holding a stick, who looked like a boy of 12 or 13 years old, slowly walked to the front of the Fog Ninjas. Fourth Mizukage, Chen Hui muttered. At the same time, the system also listed Yagura's attributes in front of Chen Hui. Name: Yagura, 3 Tails Jinchūriki, Bloodline, Nun Ninjutsu, Water Style Water Mirror Technique, Water Style Great Waterfall Technique, Wind Style After Typhoon, Coral Palm, available in Tailed Beast State, Tailed Beast Bomb, available in Full Tailed Beast State, Chakra, Mid-Kaga Level, Self, Peak Kaga Level, 3 Tails, Combat Strength Evaluation, Mid-Kaga Level, Self, Late Kaga Level, Tailed Beast Mode. Seeing this, Chen Hui nodded secretly. Yagura's strength is pretty good. Then Chen Hui responded lightly. The leader of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Chen Hui. Uchiha. Yagura's pupils shrank when he heard this, and he immediately remembered the secret report from Konoha he received a month ago. He secretly thought, didn't Uchiha defect from Konoha? How did he come to the Mist Ninja Village? And judging from their appearance, it's obvious that they're here with bad intentions. Although Yagura is controlled by Obito, Obito only controls him through his subconscious. So Yagura still has autonomy despite Obito's hints to him. However, while Yagura was thinking, the fat man next to him with orange hair and carrying a big knife wrapped in a giant bandage took action. He grinned, revealing extremely sharp, jagged teeth. He said sternly, "You Uchiha clan are not staying in Konoha. Why are you coming to our Mist Ninja Village? And you dare to blow up the gate of my Mist Ninja Village. Does Konoha want to start a war with us?" Chen Hui knew the identity of this fat man with just a glance. the most unrestrained guy in the Mist Ninja Village, one of the first 7 ninja swordsmen, and the owner of the sword Samahata, Watermelon Mountain Fugu Oni. At the same time, Chen Hui also noticed the young man with a shark face behind the pufferfish ghost in Ziguishan. Name: Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost Bloodline. Nun Ninjutsu. Ninpo Needle Sanbon. Water Style, Water Body. Water Style, Water Barrier. Chakra: Peak of Jonin Combat Strength Evaluation. Jonin Peak, Self, Half-Step, Kaga Level. Using Samahata. Name: Hoshigaki Kisame Bloodline. Nun Ninjutsu. Water Style, Water Prison Technique. Water Style, Shark Bullet Technique. Water Style, Explosive Water Wave. Chakra: Peak of Jonin Combat Power Rating. Jonin Peak. However, Chen Hui only glanced at it briefly, and after looking at the attribute table given by the system, he looked away. Then Chen Hui said calmly, "This news has spread throughout the ninja world, but you, the Mist Ninja Village, still know nothing about it. It seems that Mizukichi has done a good job in keeping the secret. Even you, the most loyal lackey, didn't reveal it. What news?" Ziguishan Pufferfish Ghost suddenly frowned and asked. At the same time, he glanced at Yagura without any trace. Chen Hui grinned and said, "The news about the Uchiha clan destroying Konoha and then defecting." The pupils of all the Mist ninjas shrank when they heard this. After a brief shock, they looked at Yagura in confusion. They didn't understand why Yagura chose to suppress the news. At this time, Yagura looked at Chen Hui coldly and said, "That is your Konoha matter and I, the Mist Ninja Village, have no interest in asking." Then he shouted sternly, "And don't change the subject, tell me the purpose of coming to Mist Ninja Village. If you can't explain it, I will let you know the consequences of provoking the Mist Ninja Village." Chen Hui said calmly, "My purpose is very simple. I was asked to kill you, and then correct the wrong path that the Mist Ninja Village has taken over the years." "You were asked to kill me?" Yagura narrowed his eyes, and then glanced at Terumi Mei and the others in the back corner, who were obviously huddled together. During this period, he also noticed that Terumi Mei had united some people and might be secretly plotting a rebellion. He originally planned to solve the problem after a while, but he didn't expect that Terumi Mei actually contacted the defected Uchiha clan. However, Yagura sneered in his heart and said secretly, "I'll take this opportunity to deal with you, and I'm also very curious about Uchiha Sharingan." At this moment, Terumi Mei, who noticed that Yagura had revealed his murderous intention towards them, immediately led his men away from the large fog ninja army. At this time, the benefits of Terumi Mei's previously chosen standing position became apparent. In a moment, a group of them appeared 100 meters away to the left of Chen Hui and Yagura. Seeing this, the fog ninjas immediately understood that the entrusted by others mentioned by Chen Hui was referring to Terumi Mei. Seeing this, the Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Demon immediately shouted angrily, "Terumi Mei! How dare you betray Lord Mizukichi and the Mist Ninja Village?" When Terumi Mei heard this, she immediately sneered and said, "What qualifications do you have to accuse me of a villain who is so greedy for profit?" "You." The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost immediately glared at Terumi Mei, and at the same time grabbed Samahata behind him with his right hand, as if he was about to draw a sword and attack at the next moment. Seeing this, Terumi Mei still just looked at the fat man with disdain. The character of the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost is very familiar to Terumi Mei. He will not have a duel with Terumi Mei just because of this little verbal dispute. What he looks like right now is just acting for Yagura. Yagura naturally understood, so he stopped the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish Ghost's movements with a casual wave of his hand. Yagura looked at Terumi Mei coldly and said, "Terumi Mei, although you are a bloodline ninja, I still treat you well. And when we overthrew the 3rd generation, we promised to change the Mist Ninja Village together. But what does your behavior mean now?" Terumi Mei immediately shouted angrily after hearing this. "Change the Mist Ninja Village? Look at what the Mist Ninja Village has become now. How can it look like the 5 great ninja villages? If your policy continues to be implemented, the Mist Ninja Village may become the history of the ninja world in a few years." Yagura also shouted angrily, "That's nonsense. Without the self-proclaimed bloodline family, the Mist Ninja Village now has laws and regulations, and its cohesion is unprecedentedly high. Coupled with the fact that the Kingdom of Water is far away from the mainland and rich in internal resources, the Mist Ninja Village has achieved true peace under its self-sufficiency." "Real peace?" Terumi Mei smiled coldly. "It seems that the person who controlled you not only controlled your thinking, but also brainwashed you to a deep level. Even your thoughts have become so naive." As soon as Terumi Mei said this, the entire Mist Ninja army was in an uproar. Did they hear it correctly? Mizukage was controlled. When Yagura heard this, he was furious. Don't spread rumors. I am the perfect Jinchūriki, but there are 3 tails in my body. There is no illusion in the ninja world that can work on me. You can't even think of using this to shake my military morale. Terumi Mei heard this and said with disdain, a frog in a well. In the distance, Chan Hui watched quietly as Terumi Mei and Yagura competed. The two were at odds with each other, and even he was ignored by the two. The group of Mist Ninjas were also very confused at this time, not knowing which one to believe. But after hearing Yagura reveal Jinchūriki's identity, they immediately chose to believe Yagura. After all, as we all know, tailed beasts and Jinchūriki cannot be controlled with Jinjutsu. Chunhui looked at this farce and quickly lost interest. So he spoke to Terumi Mei calmly. It's just a controlled puppet. He won't recognize his true character until the control is released. So stop talking nonsense and just let me deal with him. As soon as these words came out, the air around him suddenly froze. Upon seeing this, Terumi Mei's side immediately took a few steps back under the leadership of Yuancher, with no intention of participating in the battle. Chin Hui and Yagura stared at each other. The war is about to break out.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.